Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Now you learn.
You try not to repeat your
Correct.
errors. So it's all good there.
It's all good, baby.
But, Patriots Nation is very nervous right now.
Why is Patriot Nation nervous?
I wrote it down in the blog, so I have record of it. This isn't hindsight. I noticed a very stiff wind, and then later on, I did not see that flag ever go down, ever go limp. So
You don't want the flag
you
going
don't
limp.
want the flag to go limp.
I need money.
The thing could make you money. What would you do? Like I wouldn't mind teaching tennis.
That's a rich man's sport.
yeah.
Young, rich, wise.
Put the grape smugglers on. That'd
Sure.
be awesome.
Oh yeah. Tube
Right, you got
socks.
the Wilson T2000.
Tube socks.
He actually has an aluminum racket. You know they have graphite now, right?
Is that a Wilson T2000?
That's what I just said, guy.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium, and that means it's Picks Day. For the moment, it's Paul, it's Alex, it's myself. We'll be joined by Deuce and Evan.
I don't want to give anything
Shortly.
away, but a happy Picks Day.
Oh, for all?
Happy for
Pretty
everyone,
much.
Or just
or
for you?
No, pretty much for everybody.
Okay, all right. Well, we're getting better. Took us 9 weeks, but we're getting there.
A couple of bumps in the road,
Oh, okay. All right.
just with the spread.
Well, we'll get there. We got to hurry, but we will get there eventually. But first, let's talk about Patriots. Again, it's Paul and me and Alex. And, I was thinking. We on this show, we've talked about our duty to be objective. I think we owe it to our fans, among all the stuff going on out there, to be to give it to call it like we see it, but to be fair about it,
Yeah.
and not go with all the hot takes and everything. And I was thinking how easy, especially when you're 2-7, things aren't going right, how easy it is to everything's terrible, the sky's falling, and just harp on all the negatives. Because, like I said, it's easy. It's a lot tougher to, look at what might be going right in where there might be hope in that type of thing, and who might be doing a good job amidst all this, and that's all. I was just thinking.
Oh, I thought
So
this
are you
was going
calling for
somewhere.
No, I was just
Positivity,
thinking. I
or-
was just thinking that's a lot tougher. So as I was thinking about that this morning, I was looking at today's rundown, and I said, coordinators are going at 10:30 or 11 or whenever it was. I said, I'm going to go down there, and I'm gonna go check it out.
Make sure the fellas see you.
make sure everyone sees me, and how are things going? Because from reading transcripts and seeing clips, AVP, he's kind of impressed me up there. So
I would agree with that. I think
yeah.
he comes across well in those press conferences.
I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to go check it out live. And I think despite what everyone has to say about the play calling, I think he knows what he's doing. I really do. I it's just an impression. I'm not in the meeting rooms. I don't know for sure, but he just seems like a guy who knows what he's talking about. Maybe his system's a little antiquated. I don't know. Seems to be what everyone's trying to do these days. But I do know for sure that he doesn't have the horses that a lot of teams have. Certainly, offensive line is every week a different situation. He didn't pick these wide receivers, but I think he's doing a pretty good job despite all that. I really do.
I agree with you. I think he's getting a lot of flack that isn't necessarily all warranted. I think he's in a really tough spot. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a football guy. I felt good about him after his first couple of press conferences, but it's just, look what you're asking him to work with. And obviously there's a huge spotlight on him. I think, if anything, he's been a little conservative maybe with his play calling, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, I didn't
we're on how many rotations of the O-line?
Yeah, I didn't like his answer today on the 2nd and 1. We should be able to get that yard. Yeah, you should, but you also have the whole, But I've had that problem with offensive coordinators down the line on 2nd and 1. I've also been doing this blog that I do during the game for a couple decades now, probably, and from Charlie Weiss to Josh McDaniels to Bill O'Brien, everyone's always complaining about the play calling from time to time. And guess when they complain? When the play didn't work, you know? So, like, I'm not one to, like, criticize an offensive coordinator for play calling unless it's obvious, like, oh, that was a dumb call in a certain situation. But when plays go well, oh, my God, you know, offensive coordinators are great, and when they don't, they get the blame. So I don't go there. I think he's doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for the most part, the play calling thing always drives me crazy.
Yeah.
When and you're exactly right. A play doesn't work and it draws all kinds of criticism. You and I are lockstep on the 2nd and 1. We thought, you know, they had just thrown the ball twice for good gains. I think it was like 14 and 9. You know, you're in a 2-minute drill, keep it going. And I thought that call was, but I'm not going to like just sort of like, well, he stinks because he called a run play on 2nd and 1.
Right.
I agree with his larger point. He called it the 2 most disappointing plays of the day.
Right.
It's not because he ran the ball. It's because they failed.
Right.
Like they
Right.
absolutely
To me, that's
dropped
a
the
different
ball.
conversation.
You need to be able to get a yard on one of those 2 plays. I didn't like the 2nd down and 1. And 3rd and 1, you got to get the first down so you don't have to punt.
Right.
Like, I get that, but I didn't like it. I didn't like sort of the lack of urgency.
We've had that conversation before about other coordinators.
Right, absolutely. And I didn't like the lack of urgency on that either.
Yeah.
With, you know, sort of, we're not really in hurry-up mode. We have our timeouts, which he admitted today as part of that answer. But I would say overall, I agree with Alex and Fred about, you know, I think he's doing a pretty good job with a young quarterback. And that's really number 1. That's probably 1 through 5 on my list of priorities. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Let's see if you guys can take care of this young, talented kid and make him better and have him improve week to week. And, you know, some of the I like the way he's handled Drake May. And do I agree with a lot of other things that they've done? No. I don't like the system. I don't like the, you know, what they're trying to do offensively. I don't see a whole ton of creativity there. But way more important to me is how Drake May develops. And I think they've done a good job with that.
I think if the
And I think he should get a big part of the credit for that.
I think if the season ended today, I would keep AVP. Just as much, you know, for continuity as I think he's doing an okay job, because I don't want to be this team that with a young quarterback every year, you're giving him a new coordinator and perhaps new system.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be in that cycle. So if I can avoid that, I'm going to avoid it. And, you know, so like I said, right now, if the season ended, I'd keep him on.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
Even if you got a tight pants guy?
Well,
now I got to think about that.
yeah, but again, so I bring in a tight pants guy. If his system is different, then we're kind of starting over.
I get it. It's hard.
You know?
Because that's, you know, this would be now 5 in 5 years, right?
Yeah.
You know, you go McDaniels, Patricia, O'Brien, Van Pelt, and now it's be a 5th guy in 5 years running the offense. It should be part of the equation with the thought process
especially when
for the staff.
for so long we like laughed at the other teams that were just revolving doors for coordinators, because we had these like legends in the building, assistant coaches for decades, like long tenures. So it's like we're not used to that, just like rotation every other year, and it's just we've seen how stagnant everything's been because of that.
Yeah. So, you know, when I see the emails and we hear the calls, and, you know, I listen to Paul's shows, you know, this call of fire this guy, fire that guy, blow this up, blah, blah, blah. I
had a few of those yesterday on my show.
Oh, yeah. It's easy. It's easy to do that when you're 2-7. Everyone should get fired. But what I hope is that Jerod Mayo really, if nothing else, is a good evaluator of his staff. And at the end of the season, makes tough decisions if tough decisions need to be made, and don't worry about hurting feelings. If there is somebody, you know, an assistant, a position coach, or whatever, that he feels he can upgrade, he needs to make that call. On the same side, if someone is, you know, in his mind doing a good job, don't succumb to the rabble.
Yeah.
And support that person, but look at it, clear eyes, full heart. Right,
Can't
Paul?
lose.
Can't lose. So that's just my opening
Tammy
monologue.
Taylor as your wife. Can't lose.
I don't know from that.
Connie Britton. Come on, guy.
okay.
You got to keep up. You got to keep up
Okay.
with my crushes.
All right. Okay.
Alex knew.
Yeah. I never watched Friday Night Lights. I heard it was a
Really?
great show.
Oh, it was
Great show.
tremendous.
Great cinema.
Yeah.
You're a film junkie. I'm surprised in you. You haven't seen that.
No, I haven't seen it.
Have you seen the movie?
No.
No
That's
movie.
worse than me not
No
seeing
movie,
Jaws.
no show. That's probably why I didn't see the show. 'cause
Tell
I
me
didn't see
that's
the
not
movie.
worse than me not seeing Jaws.
No, you not seeing Jaws is worse.
Jaws is more
You've
legendary.
had so
than-
much time.
Yeah, Jaws is
You've
more
worked
legendary
in football
than Friday
your whole
Night
life,
Lights.
and
Yeah.
that's
Jaws came out before you were born, right?
But Friday Night Lights,
I
the,
hope so.
the TV show, really has very little to do with football.
I've never dabbled with the TV
The
show.
TV show is
Is it
tremendous.
better
I
than
think
the
it's
movie?
better than the movie.
Really?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
That's rare.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. I mean, it's not really fair.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not fair, as
Yeah.
Larry Johnson used to say.
Yeah.
The football, the movie is based on the book, which is real, like the real
Right.
Odessa Permian High School in Texas, and it's based on the actual team.
right.
That's more realistic.
Yeah.
The TV show sort of started with that premise, but veered into kind of a
Buzz Bissinger, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Buzz
He's
Bissinger.
the author
Yes.
of the book.
It kind of veered into a more of a soap opera kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know, relationships.
Yeah.
And it
Drama.
was
Yeah.
really, really good.
So I
Really
guess
good.
my bottom line message to everyone is, it's really easy to, fire. But we should all just take a step back and look, at the gray areas on the team and not just take the easy way out. And
See, I think the terminology. You knew that you were going to get me in an argument, right? You kept talking. You knew you were going to do this.
yeah,
The one thing I would take a little exception to is like it's really easy to just pull the plug and move it. No, that's hard. Those are hard decisions when you bring in someone in first year. I think the easy thing to do is we knew there were going to be bumps in the road. We knew the roster was a little short. Let's give these guys some time.
yeah. No,
That's the easy thing
no,
to do.
No, I don't think it's I don't think it's easy for Jerod. I think it's easy for fans to say, "Oh, just fire everybody." It's not Jerod. Like I said, he's going to have to make some tough decisions, and I hope he does it. Like I said,
So you
know-
were listening to my shows yesterday, right?
yeah, I might have heard 45 minutes of you because I was driving. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's most of my
Yeah.
my appearance.
Yep.
There were a handful of calls. Gerard's got to go. He's not the guy. And I just, I kind of snapped back at one of the guys, and I was like, well, what were you expecting going into the season? And I understand there have been things that you didn't expect that haven't happened. But do you really think he deserves to lose his job? And Felger jumps in and he goes, I do.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah.
And I kind of snapped because I wasn't expecting that. And he said, I wasn't really a believer in the hire. And I said, okay, now that's a whole different thing.
Exactly.
That's a whole different argument. It's not, you didn't think that it was a good decision to begin with, and nothing has happened since to change
Right.
your mind. So I guess I'm not going to argue with Felger. If that's how you thought going in,
Yeah.
there hasn't really been anything that would change your mind.
Yeah,
But
and
the callers are just like off the handle.
Yeah, I think Jerod, because of the way he was hired, a lot of people from the start didn't like the process. Didn't like, as Felger put it, they went on a retreat, and Robert Kraft picked his guy. I
I
get that.
I don't love that
No,
process
I
either.
don't love that, and
Yeah.
even if it was how it happened, I'd wish it wasn't publicized. That's one of those things I think you can just keep close to the chest.
Well, I think
I
I think Kraft had to say, well, how did you come to the decision to hire Jerod Mayo, who has never even been a coordinator? So he had to come up with some story. I went back at the time and said, it was Kraft's instincts to hire Belichick, and that was a pretty good decision. He also hired Pete Carroll, which Pete Carroll ended up being a pretty good coach. So the instincts there that he could be a head coach were good. He just never gave him a chance, and I'm outright saying, like, the ownership here allowed players and coaches to not respect Pete Carroll the way he should have been respected, and he didn't have the authority. So he never had a clear shot, but the decision to make him a head coach was a good one, as well as Belichick.
I would agree with that.
As well as Belichick. And I think there's other things along the line that he's made good decisions on. So I trusted his instincts there, and we'll see what happens. Maybe Jerod Mayo isn't the guy, but to me, it's way too early to make that conclusion.
And that was the point that I tried to make yesterday. Is just that let's give him some time. And I put Elliott Wolf in this too. We know that they had a lot of areas that they were going to be woefully short on in terms of personnel. And then you add into that the predictable, handful of injuries that they've had, and that's really taken already what was a roster that was lacking at a lot of spots, and it's made it really that much worse. Why not give them a little bit of time to put in their system, to lay the foundation of what they want as a culture in the locker room, and for Elliott Wolf, what he wants to augment the roster with in terms of talent.
Yeah.
He wants to be a young team, he wants to develop, draft and develop team. He wants young players that he can work with and continue to work with.
Yep.
So you got to give him some time to work with them. You can't
Absolutely.
just say, well, 1 year it didn't work.
Yeah.
We got to pull the plug.
Yeah, and I think as soon as this season ends, the clock is ticking. And from that point on, it's not going to be what Jerod says or how poorly or well he says it. It's going to be his actions. What are they going to do as soon as this season ends to make this team better and to rebuilding 2.0. And that's where I'm going to judge him, is what he does after this season. So
Absolutely, especially with Elliott Wolf.
Yeah, he's another one.
Now, there was, can sort of pick at, other elements of the structure and how everything is put together here. And I'm in agreement with you, Freddie and Alex, about time. Give them a little bit of time. I was a little skeptical way back when this was announced, when Elliott Wolf's sort of promotion was announced. Remember?
Yep.
Said that he was in charge of the 53.
Yep.
Right? And I said, I think that's a problem or a potential problem. And did you hear even today with some of the comments that Alex Van Pelt had?
He included Elliott.
Yeah. Being part of the decision process on, and there was some good questions being asked, like the fine line between trying everything in your power to put your team in the best position to win that particular game and getting some young players some experience, some time, figuring out where they fit in. And obviously Van Pelt's talking about guys like Baker, Polk, the two, Robinson he used specifically as an offensive lineman. And, well, how do those conversations go?
Yeah.
Is it you with the wide receivers coaches? And, and then he said, and Jerod and Elliott. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that Elliott has a say as who's on the field.
I mean, he's involved, but and I don't have any problem with him being involved. My question is who has the final say. And as long as it's Jerod, I'm good.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I just don't – I think that if you want to set it up this way, the general manager picks the players. This is what you have to work with. You have to let the coaches just do it.
I agree.
And
I agree.
I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, there's room there for conflict.
Well,
I think you're creating
the reason
conflict.
why it kind of stood out to me, and maybe it was the same as you, is he made sure that he included Elliott toward the end, I
because the question was even specifically about is it you with is it Tyler Hughes as the wide receivers
Tyler
coach, right?
Hughes is correct.
Is it you and Tyler and and Jerod, and then he was like, yeah, no, those are collaborative. It's and then he added Elliott. No one had brought up Elliott Wolf's name. He threw it in there.
Right. So that made you think about it. Right. But I agree.
And you know me, I'm often concerned about things well in advance of when you should be concerned about them.
Yeah.
That's just my
to
nature.
me, once spring practices start, the 53 should be Jerod Mayo. He should go to at times. Hey, we need to upgrade this position. Who's out there? But Jerod should be in charge of the 53 once it's settled. Once he has it, and obviously on game day, that's all Jerod as well. That's, in my opinion, that's how it should work. Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean to bring everybody down.
No, it's
I
fine.
was just bringing up a point.
But
And you
just-
heard it. I'm glad you were in. See, Fred was in to make sure that everybody was on their toes today, Alex.
Yeah. Well, you gotta clock comments like that, and I don't know. This is something I've been pondering for a little while that you guys made me think of, but I know it's like the butterfly effect and everything, and you can't really predict the injuries we had. But at the time, moving Matt Judon just felt really bad to me. I thought he's a guy that wanted to be here. He's a big energy guy. You got rid of Lawrence Guy. Like, those moves at the time didn't really feel like they were going to be detrimental. But now we're looking at our run defense. And we're looking at, okay, we don't have Judon anymore. We got rid of Uche, another guy that actually wanted to be here. By all accounts, I think are pretty good influences on the young guys that you're trying to lift up and build a culture. And then by either trade or injury or legal issues, you lose these culture guys that are kind of setting that tone for the group you're trying to bring in and build up. And maybe they wanted to get away from the way they were playing defense at the time, but I thought we were pretty good with defense last year. And I think if we had this team that we do in our right now, and our only issue really was building around Drake May, and we didn't have any of the other defensive issues that none of us really anticipated, I wonder what situation we would be in.
Yeah.
Because Drake May is the quarterback that we've seen that in a couple plays, he can put together a drive to put this team ahead. And if the other side of the ball wasn't so dysfunctional, unpredictably, would this be a fun, frisky team making a push, like, to string together wins at the end of a season and attract more talent, attract receivers that want to be part of that?
Well, listen, I'll agree with you this. If this defense was as good as a lot of people thought it was last year, except for Paul, I think you'd be right. I think these games would be a lot more interesting. When it comes to Judon, though, if I can have Judon from 2 years ago, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look at what he's done in Atlanta, and you got a third. And he was, he was disgruntled and all that stuff. And maybe they knew a little bit more about where his level of play was at than we did. And so I can't say now that, we should have kept Judon. No, we got a third. I think it was pretty good compensation for a guy like that. And he's done squat in Atlanta.
I like the trade because of the compensation, but I understand. I'm taking it from the side that Alex is putting it on.
There's intangibles. It's not just like
They-
play, you know.
But they also
That's true.
There's
They
not
had
enough
no
Leos on this team.
and that was
He
like a
brings the
spot.
Leo, not to get into the zodiacs, but like that's an ego. That's a fire that like gets under other guys, and they just were so tight knit, and they love to be around each other. And I think there's something to be said for that chemistry.
Yeah, I just think that it's also one of the thinnest positions that on the roster.
Edge.
Like he was kind of one of one.
Yeah.
I'll call Uche a half.
And he's gone.
No, but like when he was really successful, it was when Judon was on the other side.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then last year, when Judon only played 4 games, Uche was kind of invisible.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you lost like 1.5 players when you traded Judon, and you didn't really have anything, in the pipeline to replace them. I agree with Fred. I think it was a good trade. I don't think Judon was gonna be part of anything you were gonna do successfully. And I think if Judon was here playing at his peak, they'd be 2-7. I really believe that. You know that I believe that.
Yeah.
I think that they're short on so many different areas. They would have a hard time. They would have a hard time with or without him. But Lawrence Guy, Matthew Judon, maybe if you lost the other guys that you've lost, it wouldn't be as big of a problem defensively. But
And that's what I'm saying. It
they
didn't
can't
feel
score.
like
They
getting
can't
rid
move
of
the ball and
Lawrence Guy
score.
at the time was like, okay, they have Barmore. Like, it's going to be fine.
Right.
Now Barmore has the blood. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, that's what I meant about, like,
so
the
here-
butterfly effect.
Right. So here's the question that obviously there's no right answer to, but had they known that they were going to lose Bentley and they were going to lose Peppers and they were going to lose Barmore
Well, they knew that Barmore was out.
at that time when they traded Judon?
Yeah.
Oh, they did? Okay. Oh, never mind.
Well, just Barmore. The rest of it's
It was
valid.
right. It
but
was
all these
only-
other guys, would they have been as willing to get rid of Judon? Or I've heard people say this, they knew they weren't going to do much this year, and winning a couple extra games with Judon wasn't going to. that doesn't move the needle for them. The third is more valuable at this point because they just knew this was not going to be a season where wins are going to be that important. It's going to be who are we going to keep for the future in the development of Drake May. That's the two most important things for this season. And so then they were more willing to give up a guy like Judon.
Yeah, and I get the
But
logic.
I understand
and
what you're saying about the
It's all
intangibles.
hindsight.
It's
Hindsight's
yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
But you just I don't know. I guess a couple more wins this year in the grand scheme of things, who cares? You want the draft pick anyways, but
You want the
you
winning
just wonder
culture.
what it does
Yeah.
for the morale of the guys.
I agree.
You know?
Yep.
I think back to Detroit a couple years ago when no one cared about Detroit. They weren't really great, and they went on a little run at the end of the season, and they were fun and exciting, and then their success just propelled from there.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect scenario for me with this team to just catch fire at the end of the season, get people excited, and what does that do? What does that attract?
Yeah.
Right. But the difference, I would say, and I love that Lions comparison. A lot of people have been talking about it lately. The difference is it was more to me, the 93 one that we use. Mike, and Mike's here. Everybody see wicked handsome Mike.
We'll go right into it. All right.
From the locker room, what was the mood? Were the players friendly to that?
Oh, holding the
look
mic, I
like
can't.
Derrick Henry, hey Mike, what was it like in the locker room?
Everybody just
Hey
has to
Mike,
sing along to
what
it.
was it like?
So catchy. This one really is.
I was watching
It
Matt.
really is the best one.
I was watching Matt as soon as Mike sat down. He was just waiting to play that song.
I
He
said
was
to her as I was
waiting.
going, I'm like, get the song ready. And then I was like, do you think there's ever smoke in the mix? Maybe we get a little shh,
Right.
the smoke comes in. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
So for the studio.
no.
I don't want to jump on what
We
you're saying.
talk
Go
about the
ahead.
93 one,
Yeah.
and I think the Detroit one is similar. And Fred, you probably are not as aware of the actual numbers that Alex is talking about. Dan Campbell's first year, Jared Goff's first year, they were winless after 11 games, and they went 3-3 down the stretch. So they ended up going 3-13-1. And you're like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But they had shown some signs of improvement. It was a very young team that was playing. It wasn't we won a couple of games because Matthew Judon and Lawrence Guy were still here, and they're not going to be here next year anyway. Do you know what I mean? That to me is the difference. They won. They
won with guys who are likely to be there.
They drafted very well, and those guys started to play. Then they drafted very well again, and they augmented those young guys with more young guys. And now all of a sudden, those young guys aren't so young anymore, and you're one of the best teams in the league. I mean, you could make a case that Detroit is the best team in the league right now. That to me is different, and I'm not saying that for those reasons I would have gotten rid of everybody, but whether they won another couple of games, and I don't believe that would have been the case, especially as Fred says, I haven't really been following Atlanta, with Judon. Fred says he's done nothing for the Falcons. I don't think he would have been worth a couple of wins anyway. And even if he was, I don't necessarily think that helps build your culture as much as people think, because they're not here.
Yeah.
If the young guys step in, if Keon White all of a sudden, proves that he can be something more than just kind of a high motor interior guy, he turns into a really disruptive force on a down after down basis. That's worth a lot more than a win or two.
Do you think and we'll get to you in a sec, but
Yeah, you hold on.
do you think Barmore, if he's, if he's, cleared to go, is it worth for him to get in for the last 2 or 3 games, or should he just wait till next year?
I think for what Alex was saying, I think he can give you a spark. He can help, get that thing that she was, just talking about. It's a great topic though. Just to jump into my little report here, because this is exactly what Jonathan Jones said. Was asked 2-7, is it hard to stay motivated? And he said it's a different vibe right now. He said there's a lot of young guys on the team, and they're all hungry still. And he said a couple years ago in 2021, 2022, when it started not going so good, you had some veterans. He kind of trailed off there, but the implication was that veterans used to winning. When it starts to go bad, those are the guys you kind of lose. Whereas right now, like Alex was saying, you have a little bit of a young team, a little bit of a young spark, and these guys, they just want to get back on the field. They want to perform. They want to get another chance to go out there and show what they can do. So I do think it feeds into what you guys are saying, and that it could line up a vote of confidence for this team, that they're headed in the right direction, that this coaching staff can pull them together and
I would
win
imagine
games.
for young guys who just in the league who haven't experienced winning, A guy like Devin McCourty, who, great guy, of course, puts a different type of pressure on them than they're feeling right now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a guy like, you know, he knows how to do it and what it takes to win. And maybe that kind of pressure isn't what they need right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they need the more development pressure, more individual pressure. Your game, not the overall team, but you need to get better, not, you know what I mean?
Like Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, they need to show that they're NFL players.
Right.
Like that's their pressure, is to
Yeah.
establish themselves as players in this
Right.
league.
I get what Fred's saying, though, where it seems like that team, when guys would come in, it's like the standard is Super Bowl. That's the standard around here.
Right,
And that
and
kind
that's
of performance,
unrealistic right now.
That's unrealistic. You know,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's hard because you want to still have high standards and expect that the guys can, you know, maybe not play on that level, but they know that what they have to do to get there. And
But
that's
there's
what I
about
think
10
they're having
steps they need to
right,
achieve
they're having
before
some
they get there.
flexibility
Right,
without
right.
feeling like,
Yeah.
oh, God, if I don't, you know, play right, I'm going to derail this whole ship. It's everybody understands where they're at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Barmore specifically in your question, like it's all funny. I think you and I had this conversation off air the other day, right, Mike? It has to be 100% about the health.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
So I have to think that they're not even contemplating this unless there's like 100% certainty on the doctors that whatever they've done to alleviate the problem has been done and successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, you're not even talking about it.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
if that's all happened, and I don't know that it has, I'm just like Jerod keeps saying it's closer. It kind of confuses me.
Closer to what, though?
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
to me, either a blood clot problem is resolved or it isn't.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get close to being resolved.
Well,
but
but even once the blood clot thing is resolved, there's getting your strength back and getting into football shape. And
Yeah.
I just don't think that there's time.
He's been around a lot. I mean, I don't know what
I
it
don't know.
means,
It's a good
but
point.
you see him around a lot. I mean, I know initially a few weeks didn't see him around at all, and then all of a sudden he was kind of in the locker room. Hey, it's good to see him. But now it seems like whenever we're going out to practice or he's around working out. I mean, I don't know how close it is to real
And how does
football
he look?
stuff. But
You know, like does he look bigger, smaller?
yeah, it looks the same to
The
me.
same?
to
Okay.
me.
yeah,
Same
I mean, I would
type
say
of
that
guy.
if everything medically is on board, I would absolutely bring him back and
okay.
play, even
Just
if
for the
even
player.
even if just for another game or two.
just to prove to the player that he can come back.
So to that,
Exactly.
so to that point, if he comes back for the last 2 or 3 games, and all of a sudden, because he's there, Keon White looks
Yeah,
better. Then,
right.
like that's exciting.
Yes.
that's exciting. Okay, let's
I
go.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Two guys the inside that can
Yeah.
cause consistent disruption. I mean, it's it'll be.
The run game looks better.
I don't know what this team's going to look like next year. There will obviously be some changes and additions and stuff. But I would say the Keon White, Christian Barmore of it all, that is intriguing to me, and that's something to build around for this defense.
Okay. All right. What else from the locker room?
Yeah, we heard from Antonio Gibson. We heard from Trey Jacobs. He was funny. Everybody's got to ask him about the last play with Drake. I hate calling it the last play. Like we're just gonna ignore what happened in overtime. But he said
that is what Patriots fans do.
he was like, I didn't even know he threw it. Like I was like facing him. I saw he threw it. I didn't know Ramondre had caught it. So all those guys were just really impressed with Drake. You can see he's having an impact on these guys, and they have that kind of.
Because they're all like me.
Shake their
They're
head
just like 'em.
yeah. They're
like
like,
'em.
man, that's a good play. Antonio Gibson, a little quiet, reserved. I don't know. He's I mean, some pointed questions. Credit to our friend Taylor Kyles said you've been kind of known for your pass catching skill, third down back. You haven't really gotten involved in that this year, and he talked a lot about I'm trying to what was the word he said? I'm trying to change up how I'm doing things a little bit. I don't know. He was implying that he had to make changes. Didn't get into
Adjust.
too much. Yeah. So. I don't know. There was a little something going on there maybe beneath the surface with him. I mean, I think we all are kind of like curious with Paul. You've mentioned when he got in there for Rondé a couple of weeks ago. We haven't really seen much of him. I know he's had an injury as well that he's dealing with, but yeah, those were the 3 guys we heard from Jay Jones. Jones just got such a perspective from a guy that's been here, and I do think that was the most interesting comment to me though, is that it's just a different vibe right now at 2-7 than it
now,
was
were you
last year.
in
at
the
2-7.
locker room or the video room?
Well, I do both, Fred. I make
You
sure
do
I
both.
make sure I get in and get a feel, because I don't. You might ask me what the mood in the locker room was like, and I want to have an answer. It was a little quieter in the locker room today, though. Not as many people going on. So I got all the interviews in the Revs locker room, and then I just go in, get the vibe, see with the small press, let's say smaller
Definitely
press contingent
noticed
today.
that.
21 people
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
I counted.
Yeah, Fred, you were there. What did we do? Owe the honor to you attending the coordinator's
Well,
press
you missed my
conferences
opening
today.
monologue, so
Oh, I
you'll have
did.
to watch
I'll
the
watch
show
it back.
again.
I always rewatch them, evaluate
catch up.
my performance.
You'll get it in
and
post.
Paul's
Yeah.
performance, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've definitely noticed the media contingent is getting smaller and smaller.
Tighten it up. Tighten it
You know,
up.
especially Wednesday is generally
Yeah.
regular, and then Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, you get the
sort of
quarterback,
tails off a little bit.
quarterback and the coach, and yeah, tomorrow will be dead. Poor
Celtics
Jeremy
had a
Springer.
game last night, so
Yeah.
Yeah, Celtics game too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, poor Jeremy Springer. He goes at 1:30 on Fridays now, and it's
A,
like
a
you said,
rare,
there's about
interesting
5 of us.
NBA regular season game last night.
I
thought.
heard.
Yeah.
You weren't there to boo Steve Kerr?
No, but
Did you? Were you booing? You were just probably booing him through your TV, I would imagine.
I was so lame yesterday. I fell asleep so early. I think I fell asleep in the second quarter of that game.
Too much pickleball?
Too much pickleball.
Pickleball.
Military
You played-
pickleball.
you ever
salute
played a
to
lot of
service.
pickleball?
I'm
Oh, that
kind
was
of a
the
pickleball
event.
hater, honestly. I'm in Fred's camp. Like it's for like non-athletic people that
She's
don't
no,
want to play
she's
tennis.
no Dante Scarnecchia.
But that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's kind of the whole point, Fred.
I don't like the
you're
dumbing
scoffing at
down
that?
of.
I hate pickleball.
Yeah, I don't like the dumbing down and the
The
watering down of tennis.
Yeah.
Just play tennis.
Yeah.
She said Scarnecchia is
If
a
you can
big-
play
But Scar
tennis, play
goes,
tennis.
Scar loves this event, so I love this event. Scar has shoes for pickleball.
huge pickleball guy.
He has like a whole little outfit.
Oh, they've got
He's-
like the paddle, special
He's
paddles.
playing with Raekwon McMillan. At first, he was playing against him, and I was like, "Oh, that's intimidating." But then now they're on the same team, and I'm like, "That's more intimidating." And I'm watching Dante coach up Raekwon and like teach him the rules of pickleball as they're playing. It was-
You're letting
it's
me
pretty
down.
Dante probably makes his own paddles. in
Yeah,
his
right,
workshop.
right.
funny. Right? He
Yeah.
should.
Planing him
Have you ever
off.
played?
No,
I've never played either.
no.
I've hit the.
I've played I played tennis next to a pickleball court.
Now, were you one of those that gets really annoyed? I mean, obviously you don't like the sport.
I don't
but,
get annoyed, but
like if you lived next to a park, would you,
Oh,
you know,
jeez.
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
you call 911 and,
Oh, yeah.
and
no, there's a lady.
insist that they're all removed?
There's a lady in the town
Yeah.
that I live in who she lives close to the beach, I guess, or something like that. But there's a pickleball court next to her house, and she claims she's been trying to sell her house for a year, and she can't sell it because of the pickleball court.
I'm calling BS.
Of course.
Yeah,
There's no inventory on Cape Cod for sale.
right,
That would get bought up before it went to market.
right. Well, she's probably asking too much,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, considering it's next to a pickleball.
Right.
Right.
It's big,
Yeah,
it's a
I've
luxury.
never played, but I would think that would be something I could play a little bit. Like I could
You
never
would like it because they drink.
I could never play tennis because of my Achilles.
Yeah,
Like,
oh,
that's
yeah.
one of the sports.
Well, that's what it is. It's like tennis without the running.
That's
You
one of the
just
sports
kinda stand
that
there and-
the doctor said specifically. Yeah, you.
Although-
I'm glad to
stay
see
away
people
from
out there
racket
getting
sports.
active.
Yeah.
Like that's great. That's wonderful. But it's when you're taking existing tennis courts and making them pickleball courts is when I have.
Well,
So I would
listen,
agree with that.
I'm not mad about that. It's just the
He's a
sport
little mad.
itself. I look down on.
Fred's a little mad.
I
about
feel
it.
like it's
It
just
is
like
done.
private equity threw a bunch
Yeah.
of money into it, and all of a sudden
No,
everyone's
listen.
obsessed with pickleball.
Look back in the day. You know, I remember when racquetball started getting
Oh,
huge,
right.
and in indoor courts, they were taking away indoor tennis courts and turning them into racquetball courts.
I totally remember
You
the
know,
racquetball thing.
Yeah,
That's-
that was a
that's-
craze. And then outdoors paddleball, they called it,
Ah.
which was a lot like pickleball, except it was in a cage. That started getting some popularity. So there's always been offshoots that have come up and gone. I expect this one to fade out in about 5 years. You know, but and surprisingly, you know, you say, oh, it's easier because you don't have to run around. I talked to a doctor who said there's still a lot of pickleball injuries, like, you know, people in their 70s
Oh, yeah.
who forget they're 70
Yeah.
and they're pulling Achilles and hamstrings.
so I've
well,
never
if
played-
anything,
yeah, I've never
it's a
played it.
shorter court, and it's less of a distance to travel. So it's like when
But
you're
you
playing
have to move
tennis,
quickly.
Exactly, you
Yeah.
have to move quicker, and there's more lateral movement
Yeah.
in pickleball
no,
than tennis.
There's certainly, like like I said, I look down on the sport, but there's still a lot of hand-eye, you know, huge amount of hand-eye and quickness that goes into it. You know, like guys like John McEnroe are playing like celebrity
Yeah, I've
pickleball.
seen some of those
and
on
he's really
TV.
good at it because he was a great net player
Yeah.
when it came to tennis. And his hand-eye, his, you know, he's so quick. it translated right to the pickleball court.
I think I can. I have to tell you, you're making me very nervous with that open bottle of soda as you're moving your
As I'm
hand
moving
around.
my
Like,
hand.
Doesn't have
I'm
a
very,
coaster either.
Yeah.
I'm very, very worried.
Okay. All right.
Very,
All right,
very,
Mom.
very, very concerned.
Okay, Mother.
But the pickleball thing, I don't see it.
No.
I don't see it.
No. Tennis forever.
Like the hand-eye thing,
too
I think I would
loud.
I would excel at that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But the quickness thing, not so much.
I'm even resisting the social doubles of tennis. Like, I refuse to
Oh,
play
yeah.
doubles.
You're
Yeah.
purist.
Yeah. No, it's not that I'm a purist. I'm
the
like,
social doubles.
I'm not giving in yet. I'm still singles until I can't. I'm
Oh,
not
I
giving
got news
in.
for you. I saw you play Indy in San Diego 15 years ago.
I beat
You
him.
shouldn't be doing that anymore.
I beat him.
It's great for longevity. Best sport for longevity.
It is. It's a great
Golf.
sport.
No,
golf.
racket sports are number one.
Golf.
There was a study recently.
You could play golf
I'll find
forever.
it.
You can, but it doesn't
can,
make you
but
healthier.
for your
Oh.
longevity.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant.
Oh, to play long.
'Cause it's
You're
really-
right.
you gotta
Golf,
walk
you can
for
play
like 3
longer than
hours.
The older
anything.
you
I
get,
thought
the
you
less
were-
you walk the course.
She's talking about
anyways,
living
I
you
longer.
thought.
know?
Yeah,
I'm talking about
I
longevity in
misunderstood.
life.
I thought by longevity you meant play. You can actually play
yeah.
it the longest.
Yeah, anyone can ride around in a cart and get out.
You don't
take a
have to
couple
ride
steps.
around.
I know, but people do because they're lazy.
Some people do and some people
Well,
don't.
actually, some courses require it now.
right,
Speed
but
of play
Generally,
and money.
yeah, the private courses, not none of the courses I play.
Yeah. All right. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. Podcasts with an S at patriots.com. And by the way, I did a call yesterday for people to sign up for the newsletter. All you have to do is email podcast@patriots.com. Tons of emails last night. It came in this morning.
Tons.
All these people that emailed. So we're going to get you on the list. Hopefully you'll be on the list for tomorrow's distribution.
Yeah, you make sure you keep your eye out because that's where Alex runs fast and loose with the journalistic rules and just makes crap up. So make
I'm
sure,
glad you're saying
make
it
sure
to my
you're
face
watching.
now, and not when I'm not on the show. I was
I'm
like,
afraid of you?
well, I've been listening to the shows every day to put like the ones that I miss, put the newsletters together, and all of a sudden I'm just like catching these. I guess it's not a stray, but I'm
Oh,
just,
no, they're not strays. They're everything
I'm
I've
just
said to you
taking
already.
all
Yeah,
this
The
heat.
direct
And
shots.
I'm like, damn! I thought Paul was an ally. I thought we were close. I thought him and I had a special
We
relationship.
are close.
Anything without giving it away, anything good going into this newsletter?
There'll be an editor's note
Oh.
addressing. I'll have a
wow.
statement
Correction?
addressing recent comments on the show
Retraction?
about me.
All right.
Retraction?
Okay, I like it.
Addressing
That's
stay
what I'm
tuned.
looking
the
for.
allegations.
That's what I'm looking for. Conflict. Conflict.
Yes.
I'm just here to provide help.
Yeah. Great. All right, let's get to the phones. Melvin's in Tennessee. What's up, Melvin?
What's up, y'all? What's going on?
Hey.
Hey, my question isn't too much about the Patriots, but with, I guess, other teams outside of the Chiefs, I know, like, with the Ravens in general, since they've been playing well, but sometimes, of course, I don't know if I get in my own there, but since last year, I can't really always, like, all the way believe in them. I think they're going to possibly, when they get in the playoffs, have one of those, they fall apart, it seems like. But any team that you all have outside of the Chiefs that you all feel confident that this could be the year that they finally get over the hump?
Well,
and represent the AFC.
Oh, for the AFC.
Any of those particularly?
Yeah,
I
no,
would say Baltimore and Buffalo.
yeah,
Yeah,
Baltimore
those
and
are the
Buffalo.
two.
But, Paul mentioned, like, Detroit is probably right now could be the best team in the NFL. And I think all these other teams, even Kansas City being undefeated in Baltimore, they have flaws. Kansas City's offense hasn't looked like it's been in the past, and then Baltimore's defense. But it seems like Detroit's playing the best all-around football right now.
Yeah.
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 I think they're playing the best. I would have worries about their defense long term. Like, I don't think their defense is very good. Now, it's played pretty well.
Yeah. There's what they just added, Zadarius, right? So
Zadarius Smith.
needed to do
really
that
good
with-
move to replace Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if there's a one team that can in the AFC that can beat the Chiefs, it's going to be Buffalo. I think, even though their window.
I
is
like
closing.
Buffalo's chances. I like Buffalo's chances better because I think that they've played very well against Kansas City.
Yeah.
I know they've lost in the playoffs, but they played more like themselves again. And they beat them in the regular season. They've played, but Baltimore seems like they have a mental block
Yeah.
with Kansas City. They don't beat them regular season. They
They
don't
had
beat
that
them
chance
playoffs.
week one.
I know.
So I think if you're asking me what I think the best team is, Melvin, in the AFC, I think it's Baltimore. I think they have the best talent
Yeah.
in the AFC. we'll see if they can get over the hump.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
you
I
know-
wouldn't sleep on Cincy, too, either. I think they'd just
Thanks,
be a
Melvin.
team you don't really want to play in the playoffs with
Yeah,
that
I just
offense,
don't think
you
they're
know?
going to get there.
No.
I
You don't
think
think
they-
they'll get to the playoffs?
I mean, they could because obviously that's the 6th and 7th. Those last, it's going to be a 9 and
Yeah.
8 team probably. You know, I don't think you're going to have to.
Well, they got a big game this week.
Yeah, tonight.
Yeah. Todd's in North Carolina. What's up, Todd?
Hey guys,
Hi.
how you doing?
Hi, Todd. Man.
Right.
So I talked with John Rook yesterday on his show, and he said he's known AVP for all of AVP's sports life. So he followed him in high school, he was reporting on him, and through college and all the rest of it. And he said he feels that AVP is being held back, that he's not being allowed to use his knowledge because he says he's brilliant. He says he's known him, he's a friend, and the guy can just, he knows sports, he knows football.
Did he cite any evidence for
what is
being
your
held?
take on this?
Well, before my take. Did John Rook cite any evidence for why he thinks he's being held back?
Well, he seemed to think that he wasn't being allowed to be creative. And he said that Alex Van Pelt is very creative and has very, he can do schemes. He's got really great ideas. And he said, it's following throughout his career. So he's talked to him and he's known him for such a long time. And he sees that he's just not being allowed to, give the complexity or the creativity to the offense. And I was kind of flabbergasted when he said that to me. And I couldn't see it, but
Yeah.
I don't know enough. I really don't know enough about coaching and that whole ideology of building an offense to be able to, process that. So I thought maybe if you guys, I
Well,
kind of hope that Evan would be here and could help with this question a little bit.
Here's what I would say.
What do you guys think?
I mean, you say that he's a close friend of his, so again, there's a filter there that he's looking through.
Yeah.
The other thing is that would make me dubious about it is AVP's been around for quite a while.
And no one's ever given him that kind of latitude.
Exactly.
That's the first
well,
thing
not only that kind of latitude, but he hasn't earned that type of, reputation as being a creative offensive
but what
mind.
I'm saying is he's been in coaching for 20 years.
Right.
And no one's ever even allowed him to call plays, let alone design an offense. So is everybody just sort of missing the boat on Alex Van Pelt?
Right. Maybe.
And I'm not telling you
They
that's
could
wrong,
be.
Todd. I have no idea. I have no idea.
They could be.
On him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
and I have
gonna
John
be
might
emerging.
be 1,000% right. I have no idea. I'm just saying. So Green Bay didn't want him to
Thanks, guys.
devise the offense.
Thanks, Todd.
Cleveland didn't want him to,
Yeah.
to. Cincinnati didn't want him to. But everybody's just sort of holding him back,
Goes
not
back
allowing
to your,
him to be
to your
creative.
trends thing. Goes
Yeah,
back to your
trends.
trends.
Yeah.
Trends.
Like he came into this job with kind of the reputation of being an understudy all his life.
Now, Drew Bledsoe's another guy who speaks ridiculously highly of Alex Van Pelt.
Yeah.
They were teammates
Yeah.
in Buffalo. He thinks he's going to do a really, really good job.
Yeah.
But these guys know and like. I mean, Fred started off before you got here, Mike. So you don't have to go back and listen
No,
to
I
the
will
whole
anyway, but
monologue.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Fred
It's a good one.
sort of likes listening to Alex Van Pelt. Thinks he
Yeah.
presents well.
Yeah.
And I would
think
agree.
we all
I think
do.
every
Yeah.
week, I think he comes across very well.
Yeah.
So these are people that like him and are impressed by him.
Yeah.
So that doesn't necessarily mean he's great.
Yeah.
Just because he has relationships.
I talked to one person who thought that over the years he's been a little bit discriminated against because of the way he looks. He's a little heavier.
Oh,
But I don't see that.
there's
Like,
a lot of fat
there's
guys
been a
in
lot
football.
of, Andy Reid and Mike Holmgren and Charlie Weiss. I don't see.
Mike McCarthy.
But somebody actually did say that. I'm not making it up.
I mean, Mike McDaniel's like 150 pounds
Yeah.
soaking
I think
wet.
I know. I think that I'd go that way. I'd
But,
be like,
you know,
he's too skinny to
Evan,
coach
our friend
football.
Evan,
He's too
if you don't
skinny
wear
for football. I'd rather a guy that can put down a cheeseburger personally.
But if you're Evan, if you can't wear tight pants, then
Yeah.
he's got no use for you.
Right.
You know?
Jury's
But
still
like
out
you
on
got
the
to be
tight pants
skinny to
for
wear
me.
tight pants, not you're too big and the pants are
Right.
naturally tight. It's a little difference there.
Marquise in Philadelphia. What's up, Marquise?
Hey, what's going on? Big watcher. I love you guys, man. I
Thank
had
you.
a question. So,
Love you too.
yesterday someone talked about how we were 2-7 in comparison to to last year, and I talked about this in my podcast as well. And I think this 2-7 is a lot better because, for one, we actually have a quarterback that we can look forward to watching. Last year we weren't very watchable, and years before, not very watchable, honestly. So I think this year it's much better. We have something to look forward to. And then as well as the players that we do have since the deadline passed, I think their job is now just to show their best foot. And also my second question is, also, how do you feel about that? That's the basic question. And then my second question is, this roster that we talk about how bad it is, it's really bad, like what we see week to week. But on paper, and it's healthy, I think this team could possibly be like 4-3, and I think that if we were healthy, we wouldn't be talking as bad about the team, Drake May, or the receivers, if we had the help around them. So how do you guys feel about that as well?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks,
so,
Mikey.
So I would ask, in that scenario, is everybody else healthy too?
Yeah.
Like, so did you play Tua and not Tyler Huntley? Like, that all that stuff matters. Like, because that was a game that you could have won. But they averaged 27 points a game when Tua plays. Like, not the 15 that they scored the day that they played you without him. Like,
Right.
so I would say that the premise of what Marquise said, I would agree with because of Drake May. He has been more exciting.
Yes.
The bottom line is the offense isn't better. The offense isn't better than it was with Brissett, and it isn't better than it was last year.
Yeah, but
it's bad. I like watching Drake May play more than Mac Jones.
Absolutely, because last year it got to the point that you just knew they weren't going to have any success on offense.
Right.
And at least
Again,
this
so
year,
it's a mental thing.
But
I don't know what I'm going to get because this guy
Right.
is new.
Right. So
But
it's,
so far, I haven't gotten any more.
yeah, but he's more exciting to watch.
Sure.
You know he's capable of more.
Ball go farther.
Sure.
You know?
He's a dual threat.
Yeah. So he has our interest for now because we want to see what'll happen.
Yeah.
So I get it. All right. Let's take a break. When we get back,
Fred's
we'll
Foods
have,
here.
We got podcasts at patriots.com, emails, and then I got to eat. And so we'll talk when we get back. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Good afternoon. All right. So as always, win, lose, or draw on Wednesdays is all about changing the page. My message to the team today is really just about a sense of urgency in everything that we do. We have a huge test coming up, another road game going out to Chicago. It's always exciting, at least for me personally, to go to a stadium, like our team, play against a team like Chicago because of the history and the great players that have come way before me or before the guys in the locker room. Offensively for these guys, let's start with the quarterback. He's a very good player. Like, this guy is able to extend plays. He's very athletic. I watched him a little bit, coming out. And then, really just diving into the tape, this guy is very athletic. He's elusive. He has great vision in the pocket. And I would say he scrambles more to make throws, not as much on the other side. You go against some quarterbacks and they'll take off and get down the field. Not saying that he doesn't do that, but he definitely does a good job keeping his eyes down the field and making those throws. Talking about, just some of their skill positions, they have, receivers that are very good players. It's a mix, a combination of young and old, I would say, on the team. You got a guy like Adunze, who's a rookie. A lot of us liked him coming out. And then you also have Mercedes Lewis, who's still going. This is like year 19 for a guy like that. So when you talk about a mix of old and young players, there are definitely two extremes. And even talking about Mercedes, he's still doing a good job in his role. And his role right now is to go out there and move bodies, and he does a good job there. As far as the backs are concerned, explosive, all had to be at the point of attack. And, it starts up front with us as far as the run game is concerned. Defensively, obviously they put Billings on IR, which is a loss for them. In saying that, they definitely still have a lot of players on the field that have played a lot of football and have played at a high level for an extended period of time. Special teams, good in all the phases. It's going to be a challenge for us. Our special teams unit, I should say, an opportunity for them to go out there and really, string some games together as far as special teams play is concerned. And look forward to those guys preparing today. Today, full padded practice. We're going to go out there and we're going to, we talked about the sense of urgency this morning and really going out there and competing, and hopefully that carries over to the game.
Jerod, you guys were obviously very involved in the quarterback draft market this past spring. Curious how much actual one-on-one contact you had with Caleb Williams during that process.
A little for me personally, not much. For me, I think it was pretty clear cut that he was going to be the first pick overall. Now, not speaking for the scouting department, I know they've done all their research and they had multiple interactions with Caleb.
On your team, any chance to see Farmore today at practice, scrimmage, Caden Wallace?
The three of those, they won't be at practice today.
Jerod, will you consider making changes on your coaching staff, or is this a situation where you'd like to see this group stick together through the practice?
No, I would say, look, we all have to get better, and it starts, with me, and it starts with the coaches, and that's part of coming together as a staff. So we all have to get better. We all want to win games, and we need to win games now. And I think the sense of urgency message wasn't just for the players; it's also for the coaches. And nothing in this world, no matter who you are, myself included, is guaranteed.
Specific to Barmore and Strange, the fact that they haven't been on the field all season, really since spring, summer, is there value in them coming back maybe toward the end of the year, given the fact that this is week 10, or would you welcome them back pretty much any time?
Yeah, we would always welcome them back. And again, whether we're talking about free agency or trade deadline or anything, we're always trying to improve as a team, and sometimes they're under your own roof.
Trade deadline comes and goes yesterday. No action on trade deadline. It comes and goes, nothing happens. Did you feel like you guys were close to adding a good player, as you just mentioned, or was there anything cooking yesterday?
Yeah, the one thing about the trade deadline, I talked about this on Monday, at least in the NFL, everyone wants to build it up like it's baseball or basketball or something like that. It's not. Look, we do our research on everything that's available, and I would say Elliott and his staff have contacted multiple teams, and multiple teams have contacted us just like every other team in the league.
Why do you think a deal didn't get done?
I'm not sure. I mean, look, for us, it's about value. It's about thinking about the present and also trying to get better in the future.
Jerod, did you or do you feel compelled to talk to the team about the election, and how do you sort of navigate that?
Look, for us, it was all about Chicago. What I told them this morning is that, I respect democracy and we have to respect the office. And, people went out there and voted. And there's a reason that we have secret ballots. You don't have to talk about it. I said the three things that kind of, the three things that in a locker room you have to be careful about is talking about politics, talking about religion. And back in my day, it was talking about Michael Jordan versus anybody else. Now with these guys, it's LeBron versus anyone else. But those are the three things that always turn into hot topics.
With no movement at the deadline, you seem to have a logjam at wide receiver, like 7 players on the roster. How do you expect other moves, and how are you going to try and incorporate, those guys getting playing time, particularly the rookies?
I think you hit it on the head. Like, they're on the roster right now, and look, they're going to go out there and practice today, and at the same time, they'll have their opportunities. And it's not about the amount of opportunities they have. It's about, going out there and taking full advantage of those opportunities.
Speaking of wide receivers, I asked you on Monday about KJ Osborne and his celebration on the sidelines. What more do you need to see from him? KJ Osborne. What more do you have to see from him, and possibly during practices or during the week that could give him these increased opportunities and weekends?
Look, he's been in this league for a long time, and he's a professional, and he understands, the active and active part of it. And I would say, he just needs to continue to do what he's doing, and that's to go out there and practice hard and be a good teammate.
So you expect to continue to carry 7 wide receivers on the active roster?
Look, these guys are on the roster right now. We're always, again, looking to get better, and that may be addition through subtraction. It may be, I don't know what group it is, but we're always looking to get better.
Jerod, what do you find yourself doing better now, midway through the season, as a head coach than you were doing weeks 1, 2, and 3?
I would say just, for myself personally, is just the communication and going through, situational football during the games. Those are things that you have to continue to experience. Look, and once again, everyone may not like the decision, but at the same time, someone has to make it, and that's me.
Coach, you mentioned the importance of making progress throughout the season for your young players. I'm curious, in the working class, obviously different cases for each, but how do you feel that they've progressed so far this season?
Look, these guys are doing what they need to do, and they all, as individuals, will progress at different speeds. I would also say, I think our quarterback. I know everyone's excited about our quarterback, and he's a good player for us, and he will continue to develop going forward. But he understands there are a lot of things to work on for himself personally as well, and. You see, some of the other guys, and they're at different points in their rookie year. Your rookie year, no matter what position you play, it's always tough. And again, those guys, it's about getting better every single day. And you're going to deal with different situations every single day, whether you're talking on the field or off the field.
In the case of Jalen Polk and Leighton Robinson, both those guys have seen.
And now, great moments in history.
Jeez, my lines are way off this week. Yeah, I don't believe in Kirk
Where do you get your
Cousins.
lines from? Jimmy the Barber down the street?
It's week 2, the spread, and
I just go to DraftKings.
It's very
No,
nice.
ESPN's had the same lines as Paul.
Yeah.
So
Oh, we go to DraftKings.
No, these ones make more sense than the ones.
Where's Kanifa? You listening?
I
DraftKings.
mean, they are our presenting sponsor for the post-game show, so I think that we should
so
just
at least
go by
we,
DraftKings.
I mean, show a little.
I know.
Instead of every week you mocking my spreads,
I can't
as
go
if
to
I'm making them
so
up.
you go to DraftKings.
Well, why don't you go to DraftKings?
I can't. I'm not allowed to, Fred. I signed a contract here.
that's
You're
true.
not
You
allowed.
probably-
like,
is
You're
it
not allowed
blocked?
to use it.
I don't. You can't even look at it, Paul. They don't even go to.
How
the
do I
games.
look
Walk
at-
through
how do
the
I look at it
sports
every
book.
week?
You're gonna see.
Every Thursday
All right.
morning I come
on
in.
your work computer.
Paul's grandfathered into.
I was gonna say Paul just has different rules.
This is not serious, right?
That's another great moment from
All right, back here. It's Paul, Deuce, Alex, myself, Matt in the booth. Evan will be here soon. We got to do picks, so we got to hurry. But let's take some emails at podcasts@patriots.com. Alexandre, not Alexandra, Alexandre in Brazil writes in. He loves the show, been listening since 2016. Yesterday's talk about winnable and losable games was spot on. Over the season, the close games tend to flip one way or another randomly, and this is another proof of Belichick's hypocrisy. Lombardi, a.k.a. the mouth of Sauron, went on babbling that last year's record was not a good indicator of the team's quality, but he himself loves to quote the "you are what your record says you are" line. How many of the 4 wins came from details, last-minute heroics against the Bills, improbable Christmas kick in Denver, and the almost ridiculous Jets Hail Mary? How many of the 4 wins came from details?
The Jets Hail Mary. I don't know what that is.
Almost miraculous Jets Hail Mary. You said I don't know. They
Oh,
said
I don't remember
the
that
team was bad.
I
last,
do now. Now that he says it, the Jets had a Hail Mary at the end of that game that fell short.
With the Marcus Jones, Marcus Jones?
It was
No,
caught, but short of the goal line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking of it,
Yeah.
I think the Patriots won like 15-10.
Yeah. All right.
The team was bad last year. It is bad this year, and hopefully will be better next year. Wolf has to prove he's a good GM and nail the offseason, both in the draft, trades, and free agency. Let's surround the kid with weapons and improve this offense. So his bigger point was the team was what its record was last year.
And it is now. And he's proving, you can talk yourself into anything. You can say, we're not as bad as 4-13, but if you go 4-13, like you could say, we went 8-9, and we probably should have been better than that. Like right now, there's a handful of teams that probably feel like they should be in the playoff race that aren't. Cincinnati, you brought up, is one. They have more talent than their record indicates. But if you're 4-13, you're probably a 4-13 team. You know, what are you, maybe a 6-11 team instead?
Yeah.
You know, if you get some breaks here and there, you're a bad team.
I think I'm also learning about tiers of bad teams where it's like there's like the 0 to 3 win teams, or 0, but 1, 2, 3 wins.
I mean, there's 9 teams with 2 wins.
It's
right
bad.
Now. The most since like 2006 at this time of year.
I said it before. Like, I mean, I just think if you're well-coached team and you don't get absolutely murdered on injuries, you should be in the 5-6 win territory. It's like it really kind of has to be bad to be stuck in that like 2, 3, 4.
And even the injury thing, I talk about this all. Like, everybody has a lot of injuries. The bad years for teams are when the injuries are concentrated in like a specific area.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like Tampa Bay, like they just all of a sudden go into a game with no wide receivers because Godwin and Evans both go down in the same game. Like that's a crippling. It's only 2 injuries. You say, what do you mean? Everybody else is healthy. That's hard. Like Baker Mayfield has to go into a game, a big division game at home against Atlanta, and have no real idea where he's going to get production from. That's a hard thing to overcome.
Yeah, I remember similar to the 2013 Patriots lost Will Fork and I forget who was the Branch maybe. I forget who the tackle they kind of paired him with at the time, but they lost both those guys, and then they had white Chris Jones, like that other Chris Jones that was the Patriots guy who was like an undrafted, just played a year or two, but him and Joe Villano. Do you remember Joe Villano?
I remember Joe Villano.
Him and Chris Jones. You probably lost Chris Jones and the other Chris Jones, the real Chris Jones. But all of a sudden, same thing.
If the other Chris Jones played in 2006, I'd be like, oh yeah, remember him well.
Yeah, I mean, it was brief, but that was
I don't
that
remember
kind
him.
of same
I don't
kind of
remember
point.
that guy.
Yeah, same kind of point though. Same thing. Like your 2 interior tackles that everything's going to kind of go through. You lost them, and then you're stuck with 2 undrafted rookies now. And I mean, it's
the Patriots already was short on the offensive line, and then you have 2 and 3 offensive linemen unavailable every game. David Andrews gets hurt, Vadarian Lowe gets hurt, Layden Robinson gets hurt, and City So is not ready to go at the start of the season. Concentrated all in the same area, that affects things.
Matt and Devin, UK.
Mike looks like he has breaking news.
No, I didn't. I just needed to make sure that there he is, Chris Jones, 94. Remember that guy?
Sure.
No?
Let me see. Never, not once.
You don't remember Chris Jones?
Do you?
Yeah, I remember the name.
I don't.
Look, there's Bill Belichick is the frame of the game, giving Chris Jones a hug.
Oh, that's perfect. I'm going to be good because I get made fun of for taking shots at Bill after the fact.
Matt and Devin, UK. I personally think that the pick segment is the best part of the week. Don't listen to the grumpy people who don't like it. It's hilarious. And like you say, it's the part of the week where you get to talk about the rest of the league and have a little fun. Firstly, Fred, don't ever change. You are hilarious in the picks, and even though we know what you're going to say, Denver always at home, the home team gets 3 points. It gets me every time.
Absolutely.
Second, if you really want to know what the Sharps know, then just follow Alex. She always picks the favorites and lays the points, so just look at her record.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, can you please explain to me how you can get the result of the game wrong but win the spread? Surely if you get the team wrong to win, then you've got the points wrong. I'm not a betting man. I really don't understand this. So
maybe we need to do a better job of
do you want to explain that, Paul? I mean, the spread is not related to the result.
Right. So you could get the result of the game wrong.
Should Morel be taking notes on this maybe?
Yeah. This is how.
The way it works.
Maybe you should listen.
Let's say the I don't know the spread, but let's say the Patriots are 7-point underdogs this week.
Right.
They lose the game on the scoreboard, but they in the score ends up only being a 5-point difference. So that means if you pick the Patriots, you won.
If you pick the Patriots to win and cover, you only win the spread.
Kansas City, Tampa Bay. Kansas City was -9, but the score was 24-20.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you
just
pick
so
the underdog,
just so you know that
two
just
of
so
you
you know
picked
that
KC and one of you picked Tampa.
Yeah, but that wasn't the score of that game either, and that's part of your problem. It was 30-24 was the final.
I gotta click the.
I don't know how he messed it up, but I don't know how you remembered it.
It just happened Monday night.
That's my boy. My boy is still valid.
No, but he's asking a question. How can you get the point spread right and the result of the game wrong? So in Fred's example, if the Patriots are underdogs by 6 this week against Chicago, and you pick the Patriots to win and cover, and they lose by 3. Chicago wins the game, so if you pick the Patriots to win the game, you lose. The result of the game, you lose that pick.
Right.
However, you win the spread because you were also getting 6 points, and they only lost by 3. So you lose the game, the result of the game, but you win the pick against the spread.
Good day, sir.
Right.
Lose. You got that, Matt? Matt looked like
Batman.
that's why you need a matte lipstick cam, because he was just staring at you like, oh, I should have probably known this about 5 years ago.
Glassy-eyed.
Chris wants to know about question for Paul. What is your opinion on Pepsi Max versus Pepsi Zero Sugar?
Oh,
I haven't really tried a lot of the different Pepsis. I'm
DP.
just
DP.
Diet Pepsi. Blame my wife.
What's your B, though? If you had a B, like a B, A squad is Diet Pepsi. What's your B squad? If you had to go, nothing. You had nothing? Like
Soda-wise?
Like a fruit punch or something?
No. Yeah, I would go like Gatorade. You know, like a
Gatorade.
Gatorade Zero, something like
Athlete, right.
that. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you.
Did they have the make your own Gatorade back in the day at BU baseball in the 80s? Was that? Did they have
the
like
powder?
the powder?
Powder?
Powder
Yeah.
was so good.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do it a lot, but yeah, they had that stuff.
Like it a lot. Give it a little extra kick.
Now it's like the liquid IVs that the kids do.
Oh, there's so much sugar in those too.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that's part of the reason why he uses it.
Let's see. Bud writes in, or Ben writes in.
I was going to say, I have a friend named Bug.
Actually, he calls himself Chutters in Manchester.
Oh, yeah, Chutters.
Interested to get Fred and Paul's answer from the inside and from Evan and Deuce on the outside.
Alex, you're out.
Which non-player, so a coach, GM, staff, etc., do you think doesn't get enough acknowledgement for their contribution during the Dynasty years? Tune in to Claire's podcast for a No Socks answer to this tomorrow.
Did No Socks go on the
Yeah,
Claire
he was on this
podcast?
morning.
No Socks?
He's made
He
it.
was on Claire's
Did Claire's
podcast this
podcast
morning.
today?
He grows up and he grows up.
So which
He's all
non-player?
grown up. He's all grown up. So a coach. We have to pick a coach
Well, I have somebody in mind.
that doesn't get enough credit for the Dynasty years.
Yeah.
Okay, who do you have in mind?
Ernie Adams.
You think he doesn't get enough credit? Wow.
Yeah,
In
you're
the
probably,
moment, he probably didn't. I
Yeah,
think
you're
in
probably right.
hindsight
He gets a lot of
does.
credit now, and he should. But you know,
I agree that he should, but I
Yeah.
think he does.
yeah.
I think
Okay,
all
that's
those guys
fair.
kind of do. I
Who,
mean,
who's the person who doesn't get any credit that should?
I'm.
Nancy Meyer.
yeah.
I have a hard time coming up with someone that doesn't really get a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, is there a coach that you would say like
Well,
he was a
everybody loves
really,
Dante,
really?
I mean,
and
Scar
everybody-
gets a
He
lot
was
of
a
credit.
really, really
Scar
good
and-
coach, and
yeah.
people didn't realize what a good coach he was. Like, I
Right.
think people know like Charlie Weiss and Romeo Cornell were really good, and
Dante was
you
good.
know Josh
was-
came in, he was really good after that, and then Bill O'Brien did a really good job. Like those guys.
Yeah.
What about something I didn't know until being on the show with you guys? The guy who really pushed for Tom Brady, who has since passed away.
Dick
like
Rabine.
that's
Yeah.
lore
Yeah.
that I really never knew until, like I said, I think Paul told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dick Rabine was largely credited with, like, Bill told him,
discovered
we
Tom.
want to draft a quarterback late in the draft, and he tasked Dick Rabine with picking the one that he wanted, and he's the one that identified Tom Brady.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
mine.
according to
That's the lore.
the lore, to
Yeah.
use your word.
Yeah.
That's
And
a
it
new
was- I
one
mean,
for
he
you. You got
died-
aura and you got lore.
He died
I
in
do.
August 2001. I mean, amongst like one of the craziest periods in Patriot history. And I mean, he kind of gets forgotten a little bit because of 9/11
Yeah.
and Bledsoe and Brady and everything that happened like within the 2 weeks of it happening. But yeah,
I think Gil Santos.
why I?
I don't know. I mean, it's a great question. I just don't know if I have a good one.
That's a great voice.
Yeah. No, it's.
What's the other part of the question?
That
I
was-
think everybody gets. Didn't
I already deleted it.
Oh, I thought there was something from Mike and Evan.
Ivan. Oh, that he was asking for our outside perspective. That's what
Oh.
I think he meant. That you
Oh.
guys were here.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, not to sound snarky, I think everybody's gotten a significant amount of credit
With
for
the
their
amount
for
of
their roles.
documentaries and all that stuff we made,
Yeah.
I think we've
Can't
touched
think of
on
an under
everything.
the radar
Yeah.
contributor.
I wonder
Yeah.
who No Socks got. Maybe we'll turn into a clear perspective tomorrow to find out.
I'm going to guess that Fred and Paul will scoff at whoever he picks.
Everyone got credit, but it was just Brady anyway, so stop asking.
Well, he'll be the last guy that he credits. He's kind of like you in that regard.
Austin in North Carolina. I normally watch or listen on my phone. Yesterday, I decided to put the show up on my TV and pumped up the video quality. All I can say is, wow. Okay. And he says, take that how you will.
I know. Just
I
the
don't know
three
if
of
it's
us,
a wow
guys.
good
Just
or
the three
wow
of us
bad.
mostly on the show yesterday, so thanks.
Yeah.
Man.
At this point in the season,
Fireside chat.
who do you think has done their job better, Wolf versus Mayo? And if this season continues on this track, could we start to see friction between the two?
Jeez.
I'm a little concerned about that last part. Probably Mayo.
I would probably lean Mayo, but I don't.
I think Mayo has kept it together.
Yeah.
I think some of the comments that you came today with, guys, sort of young guys being hungry still and being on board. That's the coach's job. Yeah, 2-7.
Yeah.
We got to continue to work toward what our goals are, right?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously they're short on talent, so I think Mayo has probably done a better job.
Yeah, you won me over on that. I think I like that.
Let's see. Cole writes in. First time he's ever written or called. Been listening since 06.
Wow.
Been reading
People
since the
coming out.
90s.
Damn.
I joined the Navy in 03. Thank you for your service. And it was difficult to download anything on a ship with limited bandwidth. I used to have the newspaper delivered to the ship. It was amazing. We used to have Carol go out on a rowboat.
Yeah.
She would actually hand the paper to Cole.
She would put one of those yellow slickers with the hat on, and then
she'd
go
come
out.
back. But anyway, he said the paper would show up 3 to 6 weeks after it was printed. That sounds about right. And that wasn't just for people on ships.
That's funny.
I watched Super Bowl 38 in the middle of the Mediterranean. I got written up for not being at quarters when Adam kicked the game winner. I retired from the Navy last year. Congratulations. And I can honestly say that you two and the rest of the crew helped me greatly through a career that took me out of the country more often than not. The evolution of the PU crew has been amazing to watch. Paul, Fred, Andy, Brian, Eric, Megan, Mike, Alex, Tamara, and of course, Evan. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing what you do. Your level-headed analysis was welcome light in the darkness that is most Boston media. I will listen as long as you guys are on the air. I will make it a point to make more contact from now on. Well, thank you,
I
Cole.
love it.
Yeah.
I love
appreciate it.
Retirement.
That's great.
Heartwarming.
Got to talk to Joe Cardona about getting that.
I got to ask Carol why she never told us about him. You know?
I mean, they're dingy.
Yeah.
And you guys don't even know how hard it was. These two.
Well, all I heard was about how hard Andy made it on Carol.
Oh no, I'm talking
He was
about
relentless.
doing doing
Because
doing the paper itself.
Oh,
because we, like
I would pay to see
it was
that.
tough to get
It was hard.
a paper,
Bet.
delivered to people before the next game when they lived outside of New England.
Sure.
We tried our best, but you're subject to the USPS. And
So someone would call in and say, like, I didn't get my paper, and you go, Carol. And he would yell.
Well, what would happen, because the customer service number was her phone on her desk.
Like her.
So she'd have to answer to all these
Poor
people who were
Carol.
like, "Where's my paper?" And then so she wasn't at her desk all the time. So the little red light would be constantly blinking, and Andy would walk. Carol, you got voice messages. Come on, Carol, you got to answer those voice messages. Oh, and he was relentless.
Carol, no more talkie.
No, I was a subscriber in California, so I experienced firsthand some of those delays.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, wasn't that 2 weeks ago, this game? Yeah.
I just like the pictures.
Yeah. Nathan in Tampa, what's going on with Pop? Drake likes to throw to him. He's our best receiver at beating man coverage, and he can be a yak machine when hit in stride. In training camp, I believe it was mentioned, the coaching staff values the receiver's ability to run block, and Douglas is on the smaller side, but we can't run the ball anyway. So who cares if Douglas can't block? Pop needs to stay on the field all 3 downs.
Yeah, I just don't know if he's got the ability. I like being able to use him in specific spots, but I generally get the point though of felt like first couple games that they had a chemistry going, and it hasn't been quite as much the last few, but I just think you need other guys to step up so you don't miss it as much when he has a game, because all these guys
But
have
let's
games
not
where they
confuse
don't.
this as Demario Douglas's production drops out because he doesn't play enough.
Yeah.
He's out there all the time. And certainly in passing situations, when they have 3 receivers in the field, he's always one of them. Always one of them.
Let's see. Joe writes in, I agree with Chris, though I would like to take it a step further. I love Patriots Football Weekly newsletter in progress more than the team at this point. Honestly, even when Brady was still here. Paul, I know you're right a lot. Ramondre's running sustainability, the fact that they brought in no one at left tackle, et cetera, and on and on. I just request next season and moving forward, you wait until about week 4 to give us your revelations so I can be artificially excited about the team for just a little bit.
I get it. Sometimes it's a tonality issue. I get it.
Oh, boy.
But you had some excitement this summer when we started to see May, pop a little bit. And
I've maintained that. I said this a couple of times. I get some funny looks when I go on my shows. I wanted Drake Mayo over Jaden Daniels, and I stand by that. I think he will be better than Jaden Daniels when all is said and done. And nothing I've seen since has said, oh, well, I really missed that one.
So Martin from London
I thought it was from upstairs.
Has a question. You know the gray tracksuits that the players wear on the road?
Yeah.
He wants to know where he can get one.
Oh.
I don't know the answer to that.
No,
I don't think you can.
That's a team thing.
Really?
There's certain
team
lines
issue,
of
right?
clothes that Nike makes, and it's just there'll be a label on it that says like bench wear, and it's specifically for team personnel.
Well, if they were smart after the season, they'd open that up and
Yeah, they
allow
would.
fans
Afterwards,
to buy it.
though,
Right.
because you got to create the lore.
Just tell you, Martin, they're not overly flattering.
No,
for the people who
especially
wear
not
them.
the pants.
Well, that's the thing.
You gotta have a right body type.
No,
for
listen.
gray.
No, so here's what this is so true. So all the players and
Right
staff,
body
not
type.
us, not
Evan
the
included.
content.
Not the steerage.
Yeah,
that's
but
us.
all the players, coaches, trainer, everybody on the football staff.
Evan gets one.
Evan has the road gray sweatsuit.
Evan gets a road gray.
He doesn't wear the
top.
pants.
Doesn't
he
wear the
just wears
pantalones.
top.
No, they didn't give him
We
the
went
Evan
out. No,
Campbell.
but you gotta.
Not everybody can talk at once.
Let me finish the story. We went out and got our own tops, but we don't get issued the full thing, right?
Okay.
But everybody on the staff gets that, and there's some people that should not be wearing that tracksuit.
Oh, no.
They look like literally they're wearing pajamas.
That's
You know,
true.
to not name names, but it's not a flattering look, as Paul said, for everybody.
No, I think Evan when he gets in would echo your.
It's
your
not really
sentiments.
even a flattering look for the players who are in peak physical condition. They just don't look great.
Yeah.
I would say though to Martin, go on eBay. I don't know that they'll be there, but keep an eye on eBay and Google.
I'm
and
seeing the 2024 gray outfit for $98 on CaliforniaOutfits.com.
California outlets.
I'd have to look at it.
Sounds
Is it
counterfeit.
authentic?
Sounds
Is
like a
it?
knockoff.
Oh, okay. Because
It's probably not authentic.
I know it's Nike is the company.
That kind of stuff does pop up on eBay though from time to time if you're diligent about it.
Yeah.
Search benchwear, Patriots benchwear. You might come across some.
Sounds like Mike might have a little
Like
experience
side
with this.
side business. No,
Yeah.
I love I'm a good eBayer for Patriots old crap, as you've probably seen some of the stuff I wear, and yeah, there's always gems that pop up on there. But I'll do Patriots teamwear. That's always a good one. Good stuff.
Because
pops up
I
on
know
there.
the label on this says team issue.
Yeah, yeah.
That might be the label then.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
They've got
I'm
some of
getting
that
it
stuff
wrong.
on there.
I don't know.
Special label though.
Diana from New Hampshire writes in about Alex Van Pelt. She says, could it be that Alex's more intricate schemes are too difficult for the current players to perform? Could be the players holding him back. I don't think so. I don't think that the schemes are too difficult. If anything,
Well,
they're not difficult enough.
Yeah, again, this is just off of reputation and whatnot. I'm not the architect of the offense, but it's considered to be a pretty player-friendly system.
Right.
Quarterback-friendly, I think they've used specifically that phrase. So I don't think that that's accurate.
Maybe
Right.
she's speaking to how, like earlier in the show, we were talking about, I think it was Rook talking about how creative he is. And he's been kind of like
Yeah.
held back, where we all see it as more conservative. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Guess who's back?
Has returned from practice.
it doesn't hit the same anymore.
I just want like a slow zoom on, just a slow zoom on him during the song as he stares.
Evan, before we get into the practice, what's your opinion of the Patriots travel warm-up suit?
I'm okay with it, yeah, but it obviously the players' creativity, is that what you guys were just talking about? Maybe
No.
their outfits though,
Yes.
they don't get to really show off their.
Just on game day they do.
Yeah, so I think that they're, that's. I've heard some grousing about that.
Oh, really? From the media?
From our people.
Oh, our people.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, or like just like an example, if maybe they went to a big college and like they might wear on a Michigan-Ohio State weekend, we see a Michigan guy in Michigan gear, and that would be good
But I
content.
thought it
for
was
us.
optional. I thought they didn't have to wear the tracksuit. They could.
I have not seen a single player not wear it, so
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they're a lot more comfortable than wearing nice clothes for
Yeah.
sure. But what do you like the tracksuit?
Well, I only have the hoodie.
Yeah.
I don't have the pants.
Right.
But I do like the hoodie. Yeah.
Okay, and
it's nice.
Looking at some of the non-players that wear the tracksuit, would you say that it's flattering?
Non-players.
I don't think I've ever looked
Oh.
at it like that. I don't even know how to respond to that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. You do. You think it's flattering?
Why not?
I think they look like they're wearing pajamas.
Okay.
It's not a great look.
Yeah.
I can hear that.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's get back to practice.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So just a few updates, nothing major. Jermichael Hasty back at Patriots practice today. He missed yesterday with the personal matter. So still no Kyle Duggar. He remains out with an ankle injury and was not at practice again today. Did see him in the locker room, but was not at practice. So he remains out. Christian Ellis is still there, even though he was listed as a DNP. He's still out at practice and in uniform. So Duggar, the only absence, and Caleb Jones wasn't there from the practice squad, but Duggar, the only absence from the active roster.
And Caleb Jones was one of the practice players of the week last week, right? Or 2 weeks ago.
Very tall.
No, I know
big
that.
tree.
He's, Jonathan Ogden.
Yeah.
But he was I didn't misremember that, right?
Yeah,
He was one of the recent
Yeah.
practice players of the
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
After the, heading into the Jets game.
Yeah.
I think,
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Black jersey.
So that's
and
weird that
everything.
he wouldn't be. I hope he didn't get hurt. I mean, in all
Yeah.
seriousness.
Yeah.
All right. So any interesting things that you saw today? People lining up in different places, or
Well, the line stayed the same as what we saw yesterday with Onwenu at left guard. And he talked today in a scrum in the locker room and more or less confirmed that that's where he was yesterday for practice. And he answered the questions about as judiciously as he possibly could. But you do, mentally, he said that he doesn't feel like he's playing very well or up to his standard. And I think you can read between the lines that all the moving around, inside, outside, now to the left side, it might be affecting him somewhat. Even if it's not physically affecting him, maybe mentally it's just been a lot. It's been a whirlwind of a season for him. So he doesn't feel like he's played very well. And,
Van
and
Pelt,
that's part of it.
kind of, I don't say went out of his way, but was certain to tell everybody today that Mike Onwenu's our best player.
Yeah.
Best
on the
lineman.
line. On the
Yeah.
line.
I
Yeah.
totally agree, Fred. And that, to me, adds context to those comments. now.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to pump him up. Come on, Mike.
Yep.
Yeah.
We
need
get
you.
it. We get
We
it.
need
We
you.
haven't put you in a great spot, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you're the best we got.
Right.
And that's why we're asking you to do so much.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a fair read on it. Today, again, we saw Layden Robinson in at right guard and Michael Jordan out of the starting five, it seems like, as of right now. And I understand the Jordan piece of it. I felt like his tape has dropped off pretty significantly over the last couple of weeks, and I can understand wanting to go with the younger players that you see as a part of your future potentially in there, but you feel for Onwenu. You do. I mean, look, he's getting paid, so I don't feel too bad for him, but I feel for him in terms of his performance, that it's obviously impacting him by moving around the line.
So
Michael Jordan out of the starting five. Who would ever thought that?
Right.
Yeah.
So the team, this is now their 3rd out of 4 weeks on the road.
Yes.
Do you feel it affecting the media? Are they wearing down a little bit? Getting a little tired, grumpy, perhaps.
It's a tough stretch, and then it's actually 3 of 4 on the road.
That's what I just said.
Oh yeah. Sorry, hosts don't listen. It's a tough little stretch here. You gotta be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
You gotta get your sleep.
Yeah.
You
Do
can't
a
go
lot of
out
them
too much on Saturday
not
night.
even unpacked, or they just keep the suitcase? Like, how does
I can't
it work?
speak to that. I unpack. I don't know about you, but I unpack myself. But no, I think that yesterday we were had Drake May, at the podium, and there's maybe a tiny little bit of juice about this being against Caleb Williams, and I do feel like there's a little bit of that going on for Drake, at least, that you were picked ahead of me, and everybody thought you were the consensus number one guy, and now here's an opportunity to go head to head.
Getting back to the media, it is flu season.
I just keep on trying to.
Would you happen to know how many in the media have gotten their flu shot? Because I hear a lot of coughing and sneezing going on in that press box.
Yeah.
It's alarming.
It is alarming. I'm with you on this 100%, and that's why I liked last week in Nashville. We were kind of sitting in our own little area, and I prefer that for this exact reason.
Yeah.
Keep your germs to yourself. Yeah, I hear you. That's a good point.
So
maybe we can all go up to the CVS in Patriot Place after media availability
I
today.
think maybe Stacey James should offer flu shots in the media workroom.
Yeah,
have a nurse on hand.
That's a great idea. Or like the
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A
cookie.
Yeah.
Talk about incentives.
There's gonna be cookies?
A healthy media is a happy media.
Yeah,
Wow.
remember when we used to
Wow.
have to get
Chicken and cookies.
Remember when we used to have to get the COVID test in the modular out in the
yeah.
parking
Yeah.
lot?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
bring
gotta
that
remember
back.
that.
Yeah,
Every day. Remember that?
Yeah. There you go.
That was awful.
Let's stop by this trailer real quick and let some lady swab my nose.
Yep.
before I
Yeah.
can
Then
go.
we all came back positive
whole
one
fist
week, and
up.
it was all false positive.
False positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole whatever it's called sample got messed up or whatever.
I was on PU when that happened, and I got a text from Cecily who's like, "You need to leave the building right now."
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I was driving home and I
feel
got
fine.
got a call from Stacy and almost like stared off the road.
Yeah. So it was the Indy game. We came
Yeah.
back from
Yeah.
Indianapolis
Oh my
and we all
God.
had tested positive, and I was like, "There's no freaking way."
I know.
Yeah.
And so I said, "We have to do retests," and they brought in a crew from New Jersey, and they did two different tests than they did there, and we were all fine.
Fred got to the bottom of
Yeah.
that.
No, I
did.
I
The
refuse
moral
to
of that
believe
story.
it.
Should. It's kind of
I
like
refuse to believe that we all got
I
COVID
know.
at the same time.
Yeah, we all had a group text going with because I was external media at that point.
Yeah.
And we all had a group text going, and I believe it was Andrew who was like leading the charge because we all wouldn't have been able to come to work.
Yeah.
And like that's our livelihood. So
Does
it was
anyone feel actually
whole,
sick?
Yeah, and so we were all like, we're all fine. Like I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
remember that.
Thank goodness for that. All right.
Yeah.
It is that time of the week. So, Paul, catch us up.
Okay, as I previewed at the very beginning of the show, it was a pretty strong week for everyone.
For Evan.
So it was Mike, Evan, and Paul 12-3.
Wow.
Fred 11-4, Alex 10-5. So everybody did really well with the regular picks this week. With the spread, otherwise known as where you separate the men from the boys, Mike and Paul 11-4.
Wow.
I needed
Fred 10-5. Evan 8-7, and Alex 6-9.
I don't understand.
Double poop
I don't
emojis.
understand how I do so good head to straight up, and then the spread I'm so bad. I don't
So
understand.
here are
Because it's tougher.
the overall. The overall is Paul is 89-49, Evans 88-50, Alex 87-51, Fred 86-52, and poop emoji Mike 83-55.
Three. Jeez.
Okay, with the spread,
You're awful.
Fred gets the crown, 77-58-3, followed by Mike 75-60-3. Paul's strong 11-4 showing. I lose the poop emoji this week, and I'm 72-63-3. Evan 69-66-3, and poop emoji Alex
Double poop.
68-67-3.
Careful, though. She edits the
Yeah, I
newsletter.
know, right?
She has
So-
control
I don't
now.
do the poop emoji graphic.
No.
That's
no.
outsourced.
Yeah, but
Oh.
you have close. You're
Speaking
right there.
of which, who do I send those to? I usually send those out on Thursday.
Oh, I guess
Oh yeah, Kristen.
send them to Nancy and Jules. She's going to be
Okay.
working on it.
Okay,
now.
I'll send it. I'll
send them to both of them.
Mike, you're tasked with that. Make sure, because I'll forget in a half hour.
No, Nancy's my mom's name. I won't forget that.
Okay. All right.
My mom's birthday today. Happy
Oh.
birthday, Mom.
Shout
Hey,
out.
happy birthday.
Happy
She
birthday.
reminded me. Thank you for
Alex's
that.
mom.
All right. Great. All right. Now, tonight.
We gotta hurry.
Tonight, we do have to hurry.
Feeling a little dangerous.
We do have to hurry.
We really don't.
That gyro isn't sitting well with me.
It's a yiddle.
Oh no.
Let me be your yiddle.
I might have to get up. No, anyway, 8:15 tonight on Prime Video. It's the 4-5 Bengals at the 6-3 Ravens. Big game.
Fun game tonight.
Ravens by 6.
Ravens by 6.
Looks like no T. Higgins again.
You gonna watch this one, Paulie?
No T. Higgins.
He can't figure it out.
On the Amazon?
You know what? I might.
Yeah.
You have a button on your remote that probably says Prime right on it.
I know how to watch it.
I just don't
and
want to watch it.
until they invent the way to change channels during commercials.
Why? What are you going back and forth on tonight?
Could be anything.
Bruins game.
The Bachelor.
No. Thursdays. What's on Thursday nights?
Matlock.
The new one.
What are you, 100?
No, they got a new one with
yeah,
a woman.
I know. With Kathy Bates, she's like 110
I
years
know.
old. She's like 70 something.
Right,
It's actually her last
Chicago PD.
Her last
yeah,
Chicago PD is a good show.
I like all the Chicago.
No one is a
PD
defender
Fire.
of network
No.
television
See,
like
no.
Paul Perillo.
It does.
Men and
He's one
Fire
of the
not so
last
good.
people still watching the network.
I like Fire. Fire's fine.
I don't know why you have to make fun of me. So the Ravens by 6.
Because I like you.
Go ahead, Michael.
So yeah, I'm gonna
I
take.
like
I'm
my
gonna take.
stories.
All right, we gotta
take-
hurry. We have to hurry.
I'm gonna take Baltimore to win, but I'm gonna take those points for Cincinnati. I think they've been scoring. I think it'll be a close divisional game on a Thursday night. So I'll take Baltimore, but I'll take the points for Cincy, please.
I'm gonna do the same way because Mike's been doing well.
Oh, look at this. We're all
Wow.
following
Copy.
The
Cheating.
last place person.
Lamar Jackson, MVP of the
Yeah, I
league
won last year.
again.
No, I'm the last place.
I'm taking Lamar, but I'm
Wins
gonna,
the Hemi Award every week.
but I am going to take the points as well for the Bengals. Short week, division game. I just think they got this.
Yeah.
Cover the spread.
Yeah, Baltimore's defense played really well last week, which means if you're following the trends, they'll probably struggle this week. So I will do the same thing, Baltimore, but I'll take the 6.
Yeah, everybody's doing the same thing.
Trendsetter.
All right. Sunday at 9:30, we're back overseas, this time in Germany, in Munich. The 2-7 Giants are at the 2-7 Panthers.
Nothing builds the game globally like
Right.
this matchup.
Right.
The Giants by 6.5.
6.5. Jeez, that's a lot.
It is.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to play this one. That is a lot of points. So I'm going to take the Giants, but I'll give the points. I'll give the points for Carolina. I think it'll be close between two bad teams.
I guess I'm just gonna take the Giants. Double Giants.
I'm going to do the same thing as Deuce. I think both these teams are too bad to separate themselves from one another. So I'm going to take the Giants, but I'll take Carolina to cover.
I thought about doing that, but I think there's a chance the Giants' defense could really bog down Bryce Young. So I'm gonna lay the points. I'm gonna go with Alex. Take the Giants both ways.
Yeah, this is where the sharps are going to get you. So they're putting up a false flag here.
Oh.
Yeah, they're making it so that, I think the Giants are going to win, but with those points, they'll get money coming in on the Panthers. What they know is that the Panthers are going to win outright. So they're going to take everybody's money this week.
Boom.
Panthers win this game outright.
Shoot.
Okay?
Shout out Yannick.
I already got it wrong.
1 o'clock at Fox. 1 o'clock on CBS. I'm sorry. 1 o'clock on CBS. The 7-2 Bills are at the 4-5 Colts.
Buffalo by 4.
All right, Flacco. I like Flacco, but I can't take him at home against the Buff. I'm going to take Buffalo. I'll lay the points, please.
Buffalo.
Buffalo rolls.
I will take Buffalo, but I'll take the points. I say that Buffalo
Why?
wins by a field goal.
Why is that?
Because Flacco.
Because you believe in Flacco.
I think they have a chance to score some points. Most games that he's played over the last 2 years for the team that he's played for has been able to score. Last week was an exception. I thought Minnesota might do that to him, and they did. But I think otherwise he throws the ball still at a pretty high level, and I don't think Buffalo's defense is great.
Yeah, the window is closing, but it keeps getting propped up by these lousy teams. So
yes, Josh Allen.
I'm going to go.
It's getting propped up by Josh Allen.
I'm going to go with Bills both ways. It's not shut yet. Fox 1 o'clock. The 6-2 Vikings are at the 2-7 Jaguars.
I like that we're going in order on my sheet today.
Mac
Minnesota by 4.5.
Would you, is that Mac Jones' music? I think so.
Is he playing?
I
mean, I know that
sounds like the latest scuttlebutt
Yeah.
is Trevor Lawrence going to be
is
out.
at practice today, but unlikely to play.
Yeah, that's
I'm
got.
glad you guys shared that with me.
That's got Minnesota written all over it. I'll take Minnesota. I will lay the points.
Minnesota.
You betcha.
Evan?
I am also going to take the Vikings both ways. I just think the Jaguars are falling off here.
Yeah, I was actually looking
ready?
at this as the Fred Kirsch upset special, and I'm not lying at all, but I didn't know that Lawrence wasn't going to play. I will take Minnesota both ways.
Yeah, me too. Minnesota both ways. Skol. CBS 1 o'clock. 5-4 Broncos. Something must have happened with the Broncos and the networks. Because
2 in a row.
They're not at home. I can't believe it.
2
However,
in a row, Fred.
If there's another team that gets that advantage all the time, it's the Chiefs. And they are at home at 8-0.
Kansas City by 7.5.
7.5. I like that a little better than what's on my sheet.
What was yours, 9?
Yeah, I'm going to continue to take Kansas City. I got burned last week taking the points, laying the points with them, but I'm going to lay them again. I'll lay the 7.5 against Denver.
I'll split it. I'll take Kansas City to win, and I'll take Denver to cover.
This is what, a 16-game winning streak right now, I want to say, for
I think so.
the Chiefs over the Broncos. I think it continues, and I think the Chiefs roll. I have both ways.
I will take Kansas City to win, but I'll take the points because, Mike, what do I do?
Trends, baby.
I follow the trends.
Follow 'em.
They haven't really covered very often.
Folks,
this is your upset special.
Fortune favors the bold. Broncos outright. They end the streak for the Chiefs, and Patriots fans can breathe a little easier because their 21-game
Because they're
win streak
petty little people, and they care about these
stays
things.
intact.
I care.
I did that for Paul.
And I did it for you.
It's like you guys have been working together for 20 years.
Broncos outright. 1 o'clock on Fox. 6-3 Falcons are at the 2-7 Saints.
Oh, jeez, this is
This
got to be bigger. This has got to be bigger than my 3.5.
Atlanta is favored by 3.5.
Just 3.5, Bob. Jeez. That's not a lot. I'll take Atlanta, and I'll lay those points for the spiraling Saints.
Good alliteration there. Same thing.
The Saints do have the Pope on their side. I don't know if you guys have seen that,
we had a
but
poll upstairs about that.
their divine intervention there, and you usually do get a boost the week after you fire the coach, right? That's usually the week that you play well. So I'm going to take Atlanta, but I'm going to say that it's a field goal game.
Yeah, and it's also a really, really bitter division rival. They hate each other. I'm going to take Atlanta both ways. However, I think that they completely, if you look statistically, they dominated that game against the Panthers last week and still found a way to lose. Noah Olave, which, Fred, I shared with you. I don't know if you know, but that's 2 concussions this year and 4 for his career.
Oh, he's done.
I don't know about you, Mike.
Yeah, no, he's done.
But I don't feel comfortable watching him play football.
What if he wore a concussion
I don't feel really comfortable about it.
Right.
And I think that the doctor should not allow it to be his decision.
Take it out of his
The
hands.
NFL should step in.
Yeah.
And then I'll take Atlanta both ways.
Yeah, the big houses really do take into consideration the division rivalries.
The big houses.
Big houses. I haven't heard that one before, Fred. The parlance.
Yeah, the big houses.
Parlance.
Who are you taking?
What?
It's like MGM, Bellagio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Caesars.
I will go with the Falcons.
Terry Benedict's casinos.
I'll go with the Falcons.
Terry Benedict.
The brick and mortar casinos.
Yeah. Not like
offshore.
the network that Mike Lombardi works for.
Visit
1 o'clock on Fox. The 4-4 49ers are at the 4-5 Buccaneers.
The Niners by 6.
Pooh. I like San Fran.
Looks like CMC could be back too.
Yeah, I like San Fran in this game, but I'm tempted by these points with Baker.
That's what they want.
Yeah, that's what they want. I'm not going to do it. I'll lay the points.
Yeah, same.
I'm going to take the 49ers, of course, but I'm going to take the Bucs to cover at home. Long trip for the 49ers. Bucs have been frisky. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, Paul.
I'm going to take Tampa to pull an upset. Outright.
Wow.
I'm a little worried about the losing the way they did on a Monday night short week on the road. I just kind of like the way that Tampa played that game, and they have a really easy schedule after this game. So
they're scrappy.
They're scrappy.
They try.
Look, listen.
Baker bakes
Yeah.
while throwing multiple interceptions every week.
Right.
We're lucky that Baker's in the league. There's no doubt about that.
Lucky.
But
Fortunate
this is
even.
This is what they call a car wash game.
Okay.
So you've been through the mud and your car looks crazy. You go through the car wash, you come out really nice and clean.
I guess he's going to take the Niners.
That's how the
Yeah.
49ers are looking now. They're
Okay.
starting. They got that car cleaned off. They're starting to look good on the highway.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So they're going to win. 1 o'clock on CBS. The 6-2 Steelers are at the 7-2 Commanders.
Washington by 3.
Washington by 3. Ooh, this is a pretty interesting game here, actually. What do you believe? What do you believe?
What do the Sharps know?
I'm gonna go with Washington, and I'll lay the points. But I think this is a kind of a coin flip for me.
Commanders.
I'm going to take the Steelers in this game. The Steelers I always pick against them because I just don't see it with them, but they always prove me wrong, and I think the Commanders have played some close games the last couple of weeks and are sort of flirting with an
What's
L.
the number again here?
3. Washington by 3.
So I'm going to take the Steelers.
I'm going to take the Steelers too. I think that defense will be tough for a young quarterback to see for the first time.
Yeah. I will take the Commanders, but I will take the points. Wait, who's your favorite?
Yeah, no, you're right.
you're
Washington by 3.
Yeah, so they don't lose by 3.
Right.
They lose by less than
Pittsburgh
3.
Well, it's
doesn't
actually
lose
a
by
toss-up
3.
because
Right,
they're
they
on
don't
the
win
road.
by 3.
Right.
They
think about
win
it.
by less
That's
than
what I was
3.
saying.
Correct.
Right,
Even
that's
though
what
they
I was
get the
saying.
3 for being at home,
And
so
this-
it's like a
that's why I
pickup.
said
It's literally a toss-up
Yeah.
because it's at
Literally.
home.
Those are
Yeah.
the words I used out of my mouth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the world, Joey the Nose is like, I never heard a car wash game. I've been doing this forever.
It's
I've been
catching
doing
on.
it
It's
forever.
catching on.
All right, we skip over the Patriots at 1 o'clock, and we go to 4:05. The 2-6 Titans are at the 5-3 Chargers.
Charges by 7.5.
Ooh, that's a
I don't
big
think
one.
they've had a spread that big in years.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I usually I see a team beat the Patriots, and I think more of them. I mean, I think Tennessee's okay, but I think the Lack is starting to chug a little bit. I'm going to take the Lack, and I'm actually going to lay the points.
I don't know what that means.
I'm also going to take the Chargers. Yeah, I will also lay the points.
Yeah, I actually thought the Titans were pretty bad last week. Just got
Outbatted?
Yeah, thanks. It's a polite way of putting it.
Outbatted.
So I'm going to take the Chargers in this game. It's a lot of points, but I'll take the Chargers both ways at home.
Yeah, the hook is there for you, Freddie, if you want it. I'm going to lay the points, though. I think the Chargers' defense has played really, really
Outstanding.
well. And I think that's not a good offense in Tennessee. So I could see
Do the math.
very few
Do the
points
math.
being scored by the Titans.
Yeah, if you're wondering why the Chargers are getting 7.5, the answer is Harbaugh. That's the answer because he knows Mason Rudolph.
Not Jesse Minter.
Why exactly does he know Mason Rudolph?
I don't know.
They're just
Okay,
family
so the Chargers both ways.
Yeah.
Their defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter. Know the name.
Del
He's going to
Rio.
be a head coach.
Defense is
Titans
Del
coming
Rio.
in.
All right, CBS at 4:25. The 3-6 Jets. They don't have a primetime game at home this week. I don't know how that happened.
See, they got flexed out next week.
Yeah, and against the 5-4 Cardinals.
So this spread was what do they know?
What
Jets
is-
by 1.
What's up with
Jets
why
by
can't my
one.
Cardinals get any
What
respect?
do
I
they
know.
know? One on the road.
Well, then, in that case, I'm taking Evans Cardinals at home, and I'll take that point. Home dogs. Kyler Murray.
Same. Riding with Kyler.
Oh, yeah, I'm going Cardinals easily on this one. Drew Petzing, their offensive coordinator, also know the name. Going to be a head coach in the league someday. Cardinals ran for 213 yards last week. Cardinals big in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cardinals too. I think they got a little something going. I think that
Full
could be a
panel
playoff
upset?
team in the NFC.
But I do wonder what
do
they know. Why are they favoring the Jets here? I'm not sure. It could be just a money thing. How money is like. How did it start? That's what we should have. We should have. How did the line start?
Maybe
on Tuesday.
Does my job never end, Alex?
No. Yeah.
Do I have to do it all?
So I
for
would
him?
like to know how this line shifted, but I'll go with the Cardinals both ways.
Is it like a big Call of Duty release week or something?
Wow.
Nice
See?
joke. Good joke.
You
Good
see?
joke.
Came out in Fortnite today.
There you go.
That's not.
Is he still
nice.
playing Fortnite?
Kylo's played very well.
He
We
has.
owe him an apology, sir.
Well, so
Is
this
he the
whole
Fortnite
committee owes him an
demographic, or is that
apology.
young?
No,
All
he's
right,
Call of Duty.
So this one I'll be interested to see what the line is. 425 CBS. The 6-2 Eagles are at the 3-5 Cowboys.
Oh,
Philly
geez.
by 7.
Yeah.
No Dak Prescott for
No-
now and
no
maybe the rest
Dak.
of the season.
But is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Maybe not. I'll take Philly on the road. Shoot, I'm gonna have to lay those points too. It's a lot, but I'm gonna.
Philly until Dallas shows me something.
The Cowboys are in a free fall, so I'm taking the Eagles both ways in this game. I'm fascinated by what happens in the offseason with the Cowboys. I think people are going to get fired.
So I'm a little Philly, obviously, to win the game. Sirianni just does things every single game to hurt his team, and is that enough to cover the spread? I'm going to say no. I'll say the Eagles will cover, but Cooper Rush has played reasonably well for the Cowboys when he's filled in. I mean, if Sirianni's just going to go for 2 every time and, kick like 60-yard field goals instead of punting at the end of a game, like the other team's always going to have a chance. So I don't know. I'm going to take the Eagles. I'll, cover my eyes.
Yeah, when it comes to this game, if you're walking around Vegas, you might be hearing a lot of people say rah-rah. And that means that's the type of game it is for the Cowboys. It's a rah-rah game. They rally around the
I take my
team because
glasses off
without
for that.
Prescott in, and they actually cover here. They don't win, but they cover. They play hard without Prescott in there. So it's what they call a rah-rah game.
Little Ewing theory.
Yeah.
All
right.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
So now we go Sunday night, 8:20 on NBC, Universo, Telexitos, and
Peacock.
The 7-1 Lions are at the 6-3 Texans.
Detroit by 3.5.
Detroit. Yeah, I mean, Detroit's rolling. Hard to pick against them right now. Houston's been up and down this year. I'm
Their
just
offensive line's a mess.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see if they're able to kind of pull together here at the end. But I'll take Detroit. I'll lay the points.
Their first-round guard that they picked a couple of years ago hasn't panned out.
No.
Imagine
Kenyon
that.
Green.
Imagine that.
Green, yeah,
Imagine
right.
picking a guard in the first round and having him not pan out.
I don't think
Oh,
I'd ever
yeah, I
do it.
can't imagine
Would
it
you
at
go
all.
Detroit
do
both
it.
ways there?
Yes, please.
Lions.
Restore the roar. The roar hath been restored, I believe.
Yeah, I think Houston's injuries are too much against a team like the Lions, so I'm going to take Detroit both ways as well. But I think the Texans will be all right, but right now, no.
I will take Detroit to win, but I'll take the hook. I mean, Houston,
Scrappy.
little scrappy, spunky.
I hear a lot of people saying, see, they should have had C.J. Stroud sit out last year, so then he'd have his good year this year.
Oh. What?
But you like that, Paul.
It's a good take.
You like that? No, I'm going to go with the Lions both ways here. Monday night, ESPN Deportes, 8:15. The 2-6 Dolphins are at the 4-4 Rams.
Villar by 1.
This is a fun game.
It's just a fun game.
It's just a fun
Monday
game.
night.
A lot of tight pants.
Throw it on.
So many tight pants. I'd be overwhelmed.
Yeah, that Matthew Stafford though, man, he's still really
with
dangerous.
McVay, you got a tight top too, not just the tight pants.
Now you're talking my language.
Oh, give him some time.
Yeah, I think this is a 1-point game. I'm gonna take the Rams, but I think it's kind of a coin flip. I expect Tua and his offense they'll be clicking, but I'll take the Rams.
I'm gonna roll with the Rams too. Stringing a couple wins together. Now they're home.
Yeah, I'm going to go Rams both ways. I think Sean McVay has done an outstanding job with the Rams this year, keeping them afloat through those injuries. So now that they're in shouting distance, now that they're getting some of their guys back, I just think he's a really good coach. So.
Really interesting young defense the Rams have built with Verse and Fisk and those guys up front getting a lot of heat on the passer. Yeah, I'll take the Lar.
I saw Verse end up in the top quadrant of pressure guys yesterday. Did you see that, Evan?
Probably.
Keon White ended up close to that too.
He was up there.
Close to it. Huh?
Yeah,
no, he was in the upper quadrant.
He was in, but in the bottom of it.
He's where you want to be, up there in the
Right
top
where
right.
It's like a Visa card.
Yeah, so is
everywhere
Drake,
you want to be.
So is Drake May in a few of those
Except for in the
charts as
backfield.
well.
So
everywhere but the backfield.
Did you already pick?
I did. I picked the Lar.
I'm tempted to pick the Dolphins, but if it's at home for the Rams, I'll stick with the Rams.
It's like a road game.
Long flight.
No one goes to root for the Rams and Chargers in that stadium.
I know, it's true. But I'll stick with the Rams and Paul's guy. 1 o'clock on Fox. Now we go back to the Patriots.
The Rams, Stafford.
And glad we're getting to the end of the show because that gyro. We're on Fox this week.
Gotta hurry.
It's the 2-7 Patriots at the 4-4 Bears.
Chicago by 6.
Should we just pick this really, really slow?
Right.
Well,
we do have
7 minutes to get through this pick.
6 minutes.
For your own
Gotta
sake,
hurry
you don't
up.
want to do that.
I got
Got
Chicago.
any candles over there?
He does actually.
Just lit up the newest one.
You going to Grodecki's office after this?
Yeah, I haven't seen enough out of New England lately. I'm going to go with Chicago. I am tempted by the spread, though. I think New England can keep it a little bit closer than that, but I don't think not today. I'm going to take 20-10 Bears.
Not today.
I think I might pick the Patriots to cover. Chicago wins. Patriots cover. What's the spread one more time?
6.
Okay, so now I'll do that quick math in my head.
Like less than 6.
Let's do like a 24.
19?
20.
Oh, it has to be
18?
18?
That's
Wait,
6.
no,
That's
that's
a
6,
push.
exactly. 21, 18.
All right.
18. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about this game just from a talent perspective. Like, if you stacked up these two rosters, the Bears obviously have a lot more talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball, but they haven't been clicking yet with Caleb. So I don't think that they're going to completely blow doors here. So I'll go 21-17 Chicago. The Patriots cover. Nice game for Drake May against Caleb, and got some people asking some questions on Monday.
Yeah, my big concern here from the Chicago side is where mentally they are. You know, they have DJ Moore saying, I want to say no, you know, in terms of that they tuned out the coach.
Was weird.
So I think that there's some significant problems stemming from that Hail Mary that they allowed. However, I'm going to go with Evan's theory here. I'm just going to take what I think is the more talented team, and that's Chicago. I'm going to go 23-13.
I'm going down with the ship.
There's a shock.
27-21 Patriots. Big win on the road. That late season surge that Alex was talking about at the beginning of the show, it's going to start this week. Not saying they're going to undefeated the rest of the way, but you're going to see vast improvement going forward, and they're going to pull off a few wins. They'll end up with at least 4 wins this season. I'm predicting that right now. 27-21. All right, that's it for this edition of Patriots
Fred's got to go.
Fred can't get out of that seat fast enough.
Catch 22 is coming up. Alex is waiting over there. He's going to
clean up what I'm about to do.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.